Chapter 2855. There were many secrets hidden in Pangu's secret domain. Of course, the biggest secret was the core inheritance of Pangu the Immortal. If one could obtain it, it would be an extremely heaven-defying opportunity. Lin Feng had naturally been spying on it for a long time, but he had never thought that Pangu's secret domain would be taken away by someone else. This made Lin Feng feel very depressed and angry. Lin Feng asked, "Can you deduce who obtained Pangu's secret domain?" The Chaos Dragon said. "I don't know." "Then do you know where Pangu's core inheritance is?" Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. If the Chaos Dragon knew about this place, he would directly head to Pangu's core inheritance. At that time, Pangu's secret domain would be something dispensable. "I don't know. The secret is hidden in Pangu's secret domain. You need to wait carefully. Sooner or later there will be clues," the Chaos Dragon said. "Since you can't get the exact location of Pangu's core inheritance, why don't you teach me a few powerful divine abilities?" Lin Feng said with a grin. The divine abilities of an ancient existence like the Chaos Dragon were definitely extremely heaven-defying. If he could obtain those divine abilities from the Chaos Dragon, it would definitely be of great help to Lin Feng. The Chaos Dragon said, "Do you think I know divine abilities? I still want to ask you for a few divine abilities." "Damn, isn't that too shameless?" After hearing the Chaos Dragon's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. He had seen shameless people, but he had never seen someone as shameless as the Chaos Dragon. This guy's level of shamelessness was rare in the world. The Chaos Colossal Dragon opened its mouth and spat out an ancient map. "What is this?" Lin Feng asked in confusion when he saw the ancient map. He held the ancient map in his hand and carefully observed it. The more he looked at it, the more shocked he became. This ancient map was surrounded by a faint layer of divine fire power, emitting an astonishing fluctuation and aura. Moreover, the ancient map was actually made of stone. Lin Feng was stupefied when he saw the mysterious ancient stone which had been carved out of the stone and made into an ancient map. What kind of secret was hidden in this ancient map? You can call it the Chaos Ancient Map. It is said that the Chaos Ancient Map is related to the core inheritance of Pangu. Although you have not obtained Pangu's secret realm yet, if the practitioner in charge of Pangu's secret realm finds the secret to enter the core inheritance of Pangu in Pangu's secret realm, you can sense everything with the help of the Chaos Ancient Map. You can also take the opportunity to enter the core inheritance of Pangu. After entering, this Chaos Ancient Map may play a key role. As for whether you can obtain Pangu's core legacy or the cultivators who control the Pangu secret realm can obtain it, it will depend on your own luck and fortune. "I see. Thank you, thank you." Lin Feng looked at the Chaos Ancient Map with joy. This was a precious treasure. It was extremely useful to him. Whether or not he could obtain Pangu's inheritance depended entirely on this treasure. Whoosh! The next moment, Lin Feng's spirit consciousness withdrew from the chaotic world. Wang! The Chaos Ancient Bell soared into the sky, shattering the mountain that Lin Feng and the cursed doll were resting on. Then, it streaked across the sky and disappeared instantly. The mountain collapsed, and dust billowed. Lin Feng and the cursed baby had almost been buried by the cursed baby. What is this damned Chaos Ancient Bell up to now? The cursed doll cursed loudly. Lin Feng and the cursed doll rushed out of the collapsed cave in a sorry state. The cursed doll kept cursing at the Chaos Ancient Bell. Meanwhile, an ancient map appeared in Lin Feng's hand. It was the mysterious Chaos Ancient Map. Lin Feng quickly put it away. What's the matter with the Chaos Ancient Bell? The cursed doll looked at Lin Feng and asked in confusion. Lin Feng said, "I don't have the ability to refine the Chaos Ancient Bell. Moreover, it has an extremely powerful artifact spirit. That artifact spirit controls the Chaos Ancient Bell. In order to refine the Chaos Ancient Bell, one needs to be at least a great emperor. No, ordinary great emperors won't do. One needs to be at an extremely high great emperor to have a slight chance of refining the Chaos Ancient Bell. Otherwise, there's no chance at all," the cursed doll said calmly. "This is within my expectations. A treasure like the Chaos Ancient Bell has an extremely powerful origin. Refining it is naturally as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lin Feng and the cursed doll found another secluded place to rest. The cursed doll fell into a deep sleep with its limbs facing the sky. Lin Feng was not in the mood to sleep. He took out the mysterious bone. Is this the Demon Lord's bone? Lin Feng observed the mysterious bone. He couldn't be sure whether it was the Demon Lord's bone or not, but it was indeed extraordinary. It contained a powerful force. This power was very frightening, causing people to be shocked and emotionally moved. Lin Feng felt that he would be able to sense something from it. Perhaps it was a powerful technique or a dusty memory. Lin Feng tried his best to calm himself down. He then began to comprehend the Demon Lord's bone. It wasn't easy to comprehend the secrets of the Demon Lord's bone. Lin Feng tried again and again to immerse himself in the grand Tao contained within the Demon Lord's bone. However, he failed again and again. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The Demon Lord's bone was extraordinary, but he couldn't comprehend it. However, Lin Feng didn't give up. He activated the Dharma mantra. This was one of the 9 syllables of Taoism. It could help a cultivator comprehend the Grand Tao. It was very magical. With the help of the Dharma mantra, something shocking happened. Lin Feng began to gradually comprehend a mysterious aura. Lin Feng vaguely saw the Demon Lord's bone floating in front of him. The densely packed runes on the Demon Lord's bone seemed to have come alive. The runes all twisted and emitted a shocking fluctuation. Swoosh! Suddenly, a light flashed before his eyes. Lin Feng found himself in an ancient and mysterious world. This world was vast and grand, revealing endless secrets. The world contained within the Demon Lord's bone. I wonder what I'll experience inside? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He traveled through this world, trying to find the secrets within. Not long after, Lin Feng saw a young man. He was around 11 or 12 years old. He wore black clothes and carried a medicine basket. He looked anxious as if he was looking for something. Is this the Demon Lord's appearance when he was young? Lin Feng couldn't help but look at the young man in the forest in shock. Which Demon Lord was he among the 9 Demon Lords? What had he experienced? How did he become an unparalleled Demon Lord? Chapter 2856. Found it. On top of a cliff, the young man saw a fiery red spirit herb. Seeing the spirit herb, the young man showed a surprised expression. The young man carefully climbed in the direction of the spirit herb, but the place where the spirit herb grew was too steep. Every time the young man moved his body, it was extremely difficult. Fortunately, the young man finally moved to the place where the spirit herb grew. He picked the spirit herb and was about to leave. The young man saw a small golden snake pouncing towards him. The young man was shocked and quickly dodged the small golden snake. Although he dodged the snake's attack, in the end, his hand suddenly slipped. His body quickly fell down the cliff. Falling from such a height would definitely kill him. The young man's luck was not bad. When he was about to fall to the ground, he was blocked by a big tree. His body passed through the uncle's branches and the uncle reduced the force of his fall. Only then did he fall to the ground. With a plop, smoke and dust flew everywhere. The young man fainted. When the sky gradually darkened, the young man woke up. The young man's whole body was in pain. He struggled to get up from the ground and ran towards the village where he lived. The young man lived in a small mountain village. He and his mother depended on each other for survival. Now the young man's mother was seriously ill. The heavy burden of taking care of his mother fell on the young man's shoulders. Today, the young man finally found the holy herb, the fire spirit herb. There has always been a legend in the village. If you can find the holy herb, the fire spirit herb, even the dead can be saved. Mother, you'll be fine soon. You'll be fine soon, the young man said excitedly. After crushing the spirit herb, he melted it with water and fed it to his unconscious mother who was sick and lying on the bed. Perhaps because the young man's mother worked hard all these years, although she was only 30 years old, she looked like she was 40 or 50 years old. However, one could still vaguely see that when the young man's mother was like a flower, she must have been a devastatingly beautiful woman. After the young man's mother drank the medicine, she woke up the next day. "Mother, this is great. This is really great. You've finally woken up!" The young man looked at his mother excitedly. "Good son, my good son!" The young man's mother gently patted the young man's head. Her eyes were full of gratification. A month later, the young man's mother completely recovered. That night, the young man's mother looked at him and said, "Xinger, Uncle Wang and the others are going to the county city to sell their game tomorrow. I have already instructed Uncle Wang to bring you along." "County city?" The young man's eyes lit up. In half a year, he would be 12 years old, but he had never been to the county capital. The county town was 500 miles away from the mountain village where they lived. Along the way, powerful ferocious beasts appeared everywhere. During the day, there were even ghosts and demons roaming around. Therefore, the outside world was very dangerous, so the young man had always been very curious about the outside world. However, the youth never had the chance to go to the outside world. But now, his mother had actually asked him to follow Uncle Wang and the others to the county city. To the young man, the county city was a huge city that he yearned for. "This is a token. Take it with you. Once we reach the county city, Uncle Wang will bring you to a mansion. When you reach that mansion and meet the master of that mansion, take out the token that mother gave you. Hand it over to that master." The young man's mother took out a jade pendant. The front of the jade pendant was engraved with the image of an immortal palace. On the back, the word "Li" was engraved. The young man looked at the jade pendant and could not help but gently touch the word "Li." He said, "Mother, this word Li is the same as my surname. Was this jade pendant passed down from my ancestors?" The young man's mother sighed inwardly. She did not answer the young man's question. Instead, she said, "After you hand this jade pendant over to that master, he will arrange for you to be tested in a sect. If you can join a sect and learn some skills, you will be able to make a living in this chaotic world. You will not be trapped in this small mountain village forever." "A sect? A legendary sect? I heard that there are immortals in those sects who can fly," the young man said in surprise. For a young man of his age, he was very interested in those legends. "Yes, that's the kind of sect," the young man's mother said. "Mother, I will definitely join a sect and make a name for myself. When the time comes, Xinger will definitely let you live a good life. Xinger will find many maids to serve you," the young man said with a firm voice. This was his conviction. "Good boy." The young man's mother hugged him in her arms and could not help but cry. Her son had traveled 1,000 miles, but she was worried about him. The young man's mother was naturally reluctant to let him leave, but she hoped to seize this opportunity. She did not hope for a prosperous future, but she hoped that the young man could join a sect. With the sect's protection, he would not have to worry about being eaten by the wild beasts in the mountain village. The next day, the young man parted ways with his mother and followed the village's hunters to the county city. Parting was always sad. The years of poverty had already honed the young man's character. However, no matter how strong his character was, he was still not 12 years old. He could not help but cry when he had to leave his mother. 5 days later, the group finally arrived at the county city. The county city was bustling and prosperous, but the young man did not have much interest in admiring the city's prosperity. The city's prosperity was incompatible with him. "Brother Xing, let's go to the Lu Manor that your mother mentioned," Uncle Wang said. Hearing Uncle Wang's words, the young man's spirit was finally lifted. He said, "Uncle Wang, please lead the way." The young man followed Uncle Wang to the Lu Manor. The Lu Manor was a famous family in the county city. How could a mountain villager meet the old master of the Lu Manor so casually? The young man and Uncle Wang were chased out. The young man was quick-witted. He took out the token his mother had given him and asked the guard to take it to report. When the guard saw the token, he could not help but frown. He thought to himself, could it be that the old master really knows this lowly commoner? He did not dare to delay any longer. He quickly took the token and entered the manor to report this matter. Not long after, an old man in embroidered clothes walked out with the token in his hand. There were more than 10 people behind him. The old man walked out quickly as if he was flying. "Little brother, did you bring the jade pendant?" The old man looked at the young man excitedly. "Yes, sir," the young man said in neither servile nor overbearing manner. "May I ask what's your name?" the old man asked. "Li Xing," the young man replied. "Li Xing, Li Xing. Is that his name? The underworld child of a demon master. He's destined to shock the heavens in the future." Lin Feng was a passerby in this world. He had seen everything that had happened. When he heard the name, Lin Feng could not help but take a deep breath. Chapter 2857. The 9 demon masters were all very mysterious. Each demon master was shrouded in a mythical aura. Although Lin Feng had met other demon masters before, he did not know their names. The demon master Li Xing he met today was the first demon master Lin Feng knew of. "Li Xing! Li Xing! Li Xing!" The old man muttered this name to himself, as if he was lamenting about something. In the end, the old man nodded. "Little brother, please stay in the mansion for a few days. After that, I will arrange for you to go to the sect to take the test." "Thank you, sir." Li Xing thanked the old man and bowed. Under the old man's arrangements, Li Xing stayed in the mansion for the time being. As for Uncle Wang, he left the mansion. He was in charge of bringing Li Xing here, and his mission was now complete. Why is Mother acquainted with such a noble person? Why is such a noble person helping us? Li Xing lay on his bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. There were too many questions in his heart, but no one could answer them for him. Li Xing planned to find an opportunity to ask the old master of the Lu clan. Perhaps he would be able to find out some information. At night, the old man came to Li Xing's place. He smiled and asked, "Little brother, have you gotten used to living here?" Li Xing replied, "I've gotten used to it. Thank you for your hospitality, sir. However, I have some questions in my heart. I wonder if you can answer them for me?" The old man said, "Little brother, feel free to speak your mind. If I know, I will definitely tell you." Li Xing asked, "Do you know this junior's mother?" The old man sighed and said, "I do know her." Li Xing then asked, "Do you know this junior's father?" Li Xing didn't have any impression of his father, ever since he could remember. As far as he could remember, he only had images of his mother. He did not have any memories of his father. Li Xing had once asked about his father. However, his mother had said that his father had been killed by a wild beast while out hunting. After saying that, Li Xing saw his mother hiding in the room alone, crying very sadly. Since then, Li Xing had never mentioned his father in front of his mother. Li Xing didn't want his mother to cry again. Later on, Li Xing secretly asked some people in the village about his father, but those people in the village were hesitant about this matter. At this moment, Li Xing realized that something was wrong. However, in the end, he was unable to get an answer. Now that Li Xing had come to the Lu residence, he felt that Master Lu already knew about what had happened back then. He hoped that he could ask Master Lu what he wanted to know. "Didn't your mother tell you anything about your father?" the old man asked. "I did," Li Xing said. The old man continued asking, "What did your mother say?" "Mother said that father died during a hunting trip. We couldn't even find his corpse," Li Xing said. The old man took a deep look at Li Xing. He patted Li Xing's shoulder and said, "Your father did die like this. Live well, stand out, and take good care of your mother." "I will," Li Xing said firmly. "Rest well for 2 days. The day after tomorrow, this old man will bring you to the sect," the old man said and then left. After returning to his residence, he opened a scroll. There was a picture of a man and a woman on the scroll. The man was handsome and elegant, like an immortal. Although the woman's clothes were ordinary, she was also beautiful and had the bearing of a peerless beauty. The ancients said that golden phoenixes were born in the depths of the mountains. The golden phoenixes here naturally didn't refer to the phoenixes, but to a peerless beauty. It meant that peerless beauties often appeared in the depths of the mountains and rivers. The woman in the scroll was Li Xing's mother. What happened in the past made me sigh endlessly. However, I'm just a mortal and can't say much. Otherwise, my entire family would suffer a great calamity. The only thing I can do is to send him to the sect to cultivate. His future fortune can only depend on himself, the old man muttered. 2 days later, the old man brought Li Xing to the sect. This sect wasn't a very powerful one. It was just an ordinary sect with not many cultivators and not many experts. However, in the eyes of mortals, even an ordinary person in a sect like this was like an immortal, unapproachable. The old man brought Li Xing to this sect. It was naturally not easy to join the sect. One had to pass a test. Anyone who passed the test could join the sect. Many youths who wanted to join the sect gathered in front of the sect. The older ones were 15 or 16 years old, and the younger ones were only 5 or 6 years old. After about 7 days, more and more people gathered in front of the sect. Only then did 3 cultivators fly out from the depths of the sect. The cultivator in the lead was wearing a Taoist robe. He had a sage-like demeanor, as if he was an immortal who had attained the Tao. There's a sequence to Tao seeking, and there's a specialization in each field. The path of Tao seeking doesn't care about the sequence of Tao seeking. It only cares about one's comprehension. There are 3,000 Taos, and if you can achieve something in one of them, it's enough to benefit you for the rest of your life. If you want to join the immortal sect, you need to climb 108,000 stone steps. This test will test your patience, willpower, and perseverance. Only by reaching the peak can you pass. After passing the first test, you'll be qualified to take the talent test. Those who pass the test can become a disciple of the immortal sect. The Taoist waved the horsetail whisk in his hand gently. Suddenly, a stone step appeared behind the Taoist. The stone step extended upwards, lingering in the clouds. No one knew where it ended. 108,000 stone steps. Many people's legs turned to jelly when they heard this. This time tomorrow is the deadline. Everyone can climb the stone steps now, the Taoist said. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Some youths with some cultivation couldn't wait to rush up the stone steps. They quickly climbed up the stone steps. Each of them was as light as a swallow, quickly climbing up. They're too impatient. The Taoist looked at the young cultivators who couldn't wait to show off their abilities and couldn't help but shake his head. Li Xing also climbed up the stone steps. He had never cultivated before and was just an ordinary person. In reality, he was almost 12 years old. It was already very late for him to start cultivating at this age. This was because ordinary children would start cultivating at the age of 5 or 6. This was the most crucial time to build their own foundation. Chapter 2858. Lin Feng had also started cultivating when he was 6 years old. For someone like Li Xing, who started cultivating when he was almost 12 years old, it was indeed too late. Of course, this did not mean that he could not cultivate. It was just that if he started cultivating at this age, his meridians would have gradually formed and his talent would not have been unearthed. Everything would have to start from scratch. If he wanted to break through his own shackles, he would have to put in 10 or even 100 times more effort than others. It was unknown why Li Xing's mother sent him to cultivate at this age, but Li Xing was a strong-willed person. Now, his mind was filled with the matter of reaching the peak. He climbed up the stone steps one by one. As he continued to climb higher and higher stone steps, Li Xing realized that something was wrong. He realized that there seemed to be something pressing down on him. And the weight was getting heavier and heavier. To Li Xing, who had never cultivated before, all of this was filled with mysteries and unknowns. He naturally did not know what was pressing down on him, nor did he know why it was so heavy. The only thing Li Xing knew was that he had to work hard. No matter how hard it was, he had to climb the stone steps. Only by climbing the stone steps would he have hope of joining the sect. If he could not even climb the stone steps, how could he join the sect? Li Xing wanted to stand out. As long as he stood out, he would be able to become a big shot. He would be able to build a huge mansion of his own and bring his mother over to live a good life. Over the years, Li Xing had seen how difficult it was for his mother to raise him alone. Stand out and let his mother live a good life. This was the obsession in Li Xing's heart. It was also this obsession that supported him to persevere. Plop! Plop! Along the way, he encountered many test-takers who could not persevere. The 108,000 stone steps were not just simple stone steps. There was also the power of the law of gravity on top of the 108,000 stone steps. The truly talented disciples did not need to participate in the test here. They would have long been snatched up by the various large forces. All the disciples who came here to take the test were from small clans, small forces, and ordinary disciples. Of course, there might be some among these people who were like pearls covered in dust and hadn't been discovered in time. However, such people were very few after all. Those youths who had cultivated for a few years had charged too fiercely in the beginning, and did not conserve their strength. As they climbed higher and higher, their bodies could clearly feel how strong the pressure on their bodies was. Many people couldn't withstand that power. As their bodies became more and more tired, their willpower would also become weaker and weaker. At this time, it was easy to give up. Many youths who had cultivated before couldn't hold on any longer, and failed the test. I have to work hard, I have to persevere! Sweat kept coming out from his forehead, and even his whole body was soaked with sweat. Li Xing's vision blurred. He felt as if his muscles were about to be torn apart. It was as if a knife was slicing off his flesh piece by piece. This feeling was simply too painful. Li Xing really wanted to be like the others, lying on the steps and sleeping soundly. As long as he could fall asleep, there would be no more pain. However, a voice in his heart told Li Xing that he must not fall asleep. Once he fell asleep, he would never wake up again. Li Xing gritted his teeth and persevered. Every movement of his had lost its coherence, and it looked very stiff and uncoordinated. However, he still persevered. No matter how painful it was, he clenched his teeth and persevered. After an unknown amount of time, Li Xing seemed to see the stone steps at the peak. There were about 100 people standing on the steps. Most of them were youths, and there were also a few children. The remaining people were wearing strange clothes, and they were all looking at him. Who are they? Li Xing's mind was blank. He didn't know who these people were. He continued to work hard and persevered. He had to use both his hands and legs to climb up the last stone steps. Your willpower is not bad. The Taoist looked at Li Xing. When Li Xing woke up, he found himself lying on a large bed. An old man was sitting on a stool not far away. Li Xing sat up and asked uneasily, Old man, have I reached the peak? The old man looked deeply at Li Xing and said, You have. Congratulations, little brother. You have succeeded in the first step. The talent test will begin tomorrow. Whether you can stay in the sect and become a disciple will depend on tomorrow. I will definitely stay. Li Xing clenched his fists and said. There weren't many people taking the test. There were only about 100 of them. The test method was to place one's hand on a crystal ball. Depending on one's talent, different colors would appear on the crystal ball. The lowest talent was white. After white, there were red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and other colors. Most sects would accept people with orange talents and above. More and more people went up to take the test. More than 20 people took the test, and most of them had red talents. All of them were eliminated. Those who were eliminated all had pale faces. Only after more than 20 people had failed the test did the first person pass. The person taking the test was a young girl with yellow talents. In the end, only 6 people succeeded. Li Xing wasn't one of them. Li Xing's talent was the lowest grade, white. Among the 100 or so people here, he was at the bottom. In the end, he has no fate with the immortal sect. The old man sighed from afar. Those who failed can leave the mountain now, the Taoist said. I beg you, please accept me. I can chop materials, cook, wash clothes, I can do anything. Please accept me. Li Xing wasn't willing to leave just like that. He knelt in front of the Taoist and begged. Humph, this is an important place. Don't make a ruckus. If you make a ruckus again, I'll chase you out, the Taoist said coldly. Those words cut off all hope for Li Xing, making him feel as if he had fallen into a bottomless abyss. At that moment, a fat cultivator flew over from afar. Senior Brother Wang. Seeing the fat cultivator, the Taoist didn't dare to hesitate and quickly bowed. The Taoist nodded and said, The Spiritual Academy is lacking a few spirit children to help look after the herb garden. Are there any suitable candidates among these children who failed? I'm willing to do anything, Li Xing quickly said. All right, I'll choose you. And you. The fat cultivator chose Li Xing and a few others and took them away. The image stopped there. Lin Feng's spiritual sense returned from the ancient world to the real world. The image disappeared. What happened next? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The image had disappeared just like that. This made him extremely depressed. He wanted to know what happened next. Chapter 2859. Lin Feng's divine will attempted to enter the demonic bone again. The experience of Li Xing had deeply attracted his attention. Perhaps he would be able to uncover the life of a demon master. Something tragic must have happened back then for Li Xing's personality to change so drastically and for him to become a demon master. However, no matter how hard Lin Feng tried, Lin Feng was unable to enter that world. Naturally, Lin Feng had no way of knowing what had happened to Li Xing. Damn it, I can't even see what happened after watching half of it. What a scam! Lin Feng wailed gloomily. It would be too much of a scam if he could only watch half of such a fascinating story and not know what happened after. Lin Feng's current mood was like 100 claws scratching at his heart. When the cursed doll woke up, it looked at Lin Feng and said, Did you comprehend any peerless techniques while comprehending the demonic bone last night? Lin Feng said, I would like to comprehend the mysteries within. No rush. Anyway, no matter when you comprehend the peerless techniques, you have to tell me. I don't think it's too late, the cursed doll said with a grin. This fellow constantly reminded Lin Feng of this matter, as if afraid that Lin Feng would not tell it if he comprehended the peerless techniques. Lin Feng said in annoyance. Got it. I won't miss out on your share. You can rest assured about that. The two of them left the cave to rest and continued to search for opportunities. Not long after, a huge battle broke out in a mountain range. It was said that an ancient cultivator's cave appeared in the mountain range, and someone found an immortal pill in the cave. That was a true immortal pill, surrounded by endless immortal energy. Although no one refined the immortal pill, there was no need to do so. Everyone could tell how precious the immortal pill was just by smelling it. The immortal pill gave off an alluring fragrance. That smell made one feel as if they were addicted to it, and unable to extricate themselves. All the pain in their body was instantly healed. This was the effect of an immortal pill. Its effect was unimaginably powerful. By the time Lin Feng and the cursed doll arrived, they were already too late. The immortal pills had been snatched away. A large number of cultivators chased after the cultivator who stole the immortal pill. Lin Feng saw the cultivator who snatched the immortal pill from afar, although he only saw a back view. This back view. Looking at that figure, Lin Feng's eyes couldn't help but shrink. That figure gave him an extremely strong sense of familiarity. The figure of a cultivator appeared in his mind. Impossible! He was clearly killed. Even his soul was destroyed. How could he be resurrected? Lin Feng quickly shook his head and threw the figure in his heart to the back of his mind. He couldn't believe that a dead person could come back to life, but that back view was so familiar. What? You know him? The cursed doll noticed the change in Lin Feng's expression and couldn't help but ask. Lin Feng said, He looks like someone I used to know. Let's go. Let's chase after him and see if it's him. If it's him, we'll kill him again. Lin Feng increased his speed, wanting to catch up to the person in front of him. The cursed doll followed closely behind. Both of them were extremely fast, but they couldn't catch up to that person. That person's speed was too fast, and his methods were extremely shocking. He traveled through the void and disappeared without a trace. He ran away. Lin Feng frowned. Although he didn't see that person's face, he increasingly felt that it was the person in his memory. What kind of mistake happened back then? A dead person shouldn't be able to come back to life. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown and say, a dead person would have turned into a pile of bones. How could they come back to life? However, why did he immediately think of that person when he saw his back view? Can a dead person be resurrected? Lin Feng looked at the cursed doll and couldn't help but ask. The cursed doll knew some extremely strange methods. Perhaps it had heard of some evil arts that could bring people back to life. That depends on how you die. If your physical body dies and your soul doesn't scatter, your soul can take over another body. This is a different kind of rebirth. If your soul is scattered, then you can't be any more dead than you already are. There's no such thing as resurrection, the cursed doll said. I'm very sure. Back then, I destroyed his soul, but his body wasn't destroyed, Lin Feng said. If the soul disperses, and the body isn't destroyed, it can't be resurrected. What's the true core of a person? The cursed doll said as it pointed at its own head and said, this is the true core of a person, which is the soul. Lin Feng nodded and said, maybe I saw wrongly. He temporarily put this matter aside. If he could meet that person again and see his face, he might be able to reveal everything. However, it was still just a guess. In this world, there were many people who looked alike, let alone a back view. It couldn't prove anything. That night, Lin Feng and the cursed doll rested in a mountain forest. Lin Feng sat cross-legged on the trunk of a large tree. He was comprehending the demonic bone in his hand again. Time has passed, and the world has changed. Does anyone still remember that someone once shed tears of blood for the living beings of this era? Suddenly, a deep voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. At that moment, Lin Feng discovered that he had disappeared from the world before him. He had arrived in another world. This world was surrounded by chaotic energy. Apart from chaotic energy, there was nothing else. A man in black stood in the distance with his back facing Yishuan. Lin Feng's mind jolted. Senior, is that you? Lin Feng asked. Who do you think I am? The man did not turn around. Instead, he asked. Demon Master Li Xing, Lin Feng said. Ha ha! The man suddenly laughed loudly. Lin Feng did not know what he was laughing about, but Lin Feng could feel that when he said the words Demon Master Li Xing. The man's emotions seemed to fluctuate greatly. In the end, it's just a dream. It's like the flowers in a dream that turned into nothingness in an instant. The man muttered to himself. You and I are fated. I hope this fist technique will not be buried, the man said. He still did not turn around. His back was still facing Lin Feng. However, he began to move. His movements were not particularly fast, but they had Taoist rhymes. Every movement contained the various changes of the heavenly Tao's rules. Lin Feng took a deep breath and looked at the man without blinking. Chapter 2860. Although each of the man's moves looked simple, they contained a supreme Tao aura. If one did not comprehend it carefully, they would feel that everything was cloudy and would have too many doubts. Lin Feng carefully comprehended the Tao and the Tao. He tried his best to memorize every move in his mind. Demon Ancestor Sacred Fist was the name of this fist technique. This fist technique contained many changes, and it was powerful and immortal. Mastering this fist technique was equivalent to mastering an invincible divine ability. This was a fist technique created by a demon lord, and it was extremely domineering. After an unknown amount of time, the man stopped. His back was still facing Lin Feng. He did not speak, and his body was gradually dimming. Swoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Feng felt that he had disappeared from that world. In the next moment, his divine consciousness returned to the real world. In his mind, there were many cultivation techniques and various connected images. These images were of the man practicing various fist techniques. Lin Feng successfully imprinted this fist technique in his mind. Looks like you have an epiphany? The cursed doll looked at Lin Feng and asked. With his sharp spiritual sense, he could sense that something was wrong, so he asked Lin Feng. That's right. I have an epiphany of a divine ability from the demon bone. I will teach it to you now, Lin Feng said. Although the demon bone was under his control, the cursed doll had also contributed a lot in the process of snatching the demon bone. Therefore, the cursed doll also had a part of the divine ability in the demon bone. Demon Ancestor Sacred Fist! Ha ha ha, not bad, not bad. Just by looking at the name, I can tell that it is a very powerful divine ability. The cursed doll laughed loudly, and his face was filled with excitement. He also needed to cultivate a powerful divine ability to stimulate his body and recover his cultivation. At the same time, he needed to strengthen himself and prepare for the future. The night was dark. Late at night, the chaotic ancient nation was not peaceful. Especially in the forest outside, the roars of beasts could be heard everywhere. Powerful beasts were rampaging everywhere. Many ferocious beasts were extremely powerful and terrifying. Even if cultivators encountered them, they would have to retreat. The slightest carelessness could lead to death. Lin Feng and the cursed doll were not in the mood to sleep. Both of them were studying the demon ancestor's sacred fist. There was no need to say much about the power of this fist technique. However, in order to successfully cultivate it, one would need to spend a lot of time and effort. The more powerful a divine ability was, the more difficult it was to cultivate it. The next day, Lin Feng and the cursed doll continued their journey. They went deeper and deeper, and not long after, they saw a huge object appear in their sight. An ancient city appeared in front of them. The primal chaos ancient country was huge and had all kinds of terrains, such as mountains, rivers, ancient cities, deserts, valleys, and so on. The crisscrossing terrain formed the ancient chaotic country, a huge ancient country. The ancient city was huge. Its black walls were over 10,000 meters tall. It was unknown what material the walls were made of. The wall reflected a cold luster. The ancient city was nameless. One could vaguely see some traces of words on the plaque above the city gate. It was unknown if the merciless passage of time had erased the words, or if someone had destroyed the words. The ancient city gate was tightly shut. There was a powerful restriction above it. Many cultivators were looking at the ancient city. Someone worked together to open the gate and entered the ancient city. However, they haven't come out yet. I wonder if something happened? Someone said. This news attracted Lin Feng's attention. Such an ancient city was too extraordinary. Entering it but not coming out was enough to explain a lot of things. Of course, it was also possible that they had obtained a fortuitous encounter inside and thus did not come out. Some people planned to enter the ancient city again to explore. About 100 cultivators worked together to open the gate of the ancient city. Loud rumbling sounds could be heard as the gate of the ancient city was gradually pushed open. Then, a large number of cultivators entered the ancient city. Several groups of cultivators gathered together to explore the ancient city. Lin Feng and the cursed doll also entered the ancient city. This ancient city emitted a cold and gloomy aura. Blade scars and sword scars could be seen on the ground, seemingly describing the intense battle that happened here in the past. Dried bloodstains could be clearly seen on the ground. A great battle had happened here in the past. Moreover, it was extremely tragic. Many houses on both sides of the ancient city had collapsed. More than half of the ancient city was destroyed, reduced to rubble. Such a huge ancient city covered in restrictions was actually destroyed. Just what level of battle happened here in the past? Lin Feng walked through the ancient city, feeling very puzzled. Something shocking must have happened back then. Otherwise, this ancient city would not have been so badly damaged. The burial ground of immortals, the cursed doll said. The burial ground of immortals. Since there is such a saying, could it be that an immortal war happened here in the past? An immortal war. A war between immortal level experts. A war of this level was simply too shocking. Any immortal had the ability to destroy an entire world with a raise of their hand. When night fell, clattering sounds could be heard coming from the ancient city. The sound was like chains clanging against each other. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Every clash was sonorous and forceful. Every clash was deafening. It was as if some living being had been chained up by chains. Currently, that living being was constantly struggling, trying to break free from the shackles of the chains. "Where is the sound coming from?" Lin Feng said in shock as he carefully searched for the source of the sound. However, he could not find any clues. The strange sound seemed to have come out of thin air. It was simply too strange. "Could there be something locked up in this ancient city?" the cursed doll said with a gloomy expression. Many cultivators were alarmed and their expressions turned ugly. Then, they retreated one after another, wanting to leave the ancient city. However, they found that the ancient city's gates were tightly shut. It was difficult to open them. "Perhaps we will have to wait until tomorrow to open the ancient city," someone said. Many people gathered before the ancient city's gates and waited. Not long after, a figure appeared in the distance. It was a mysterious cultivator. He wore a bamboo hat and a blood-red robe. A gust of wind blew past. The blood-red robe fluttered loudly. "Who is he?" Many people were shocked when they saw the cultivator in the blood-red robe. "Come, let's go and take a look," someone said and quickly flew toward the cultivator. Chapter 2861. The blood-red robe emitted a demonic glow that sent chills down one's spine. Lin Feng frowned and said, "What a strange aura. I can't feel the aura of life from that blood-red robed cultivator. Is it because he has a powerful concealment technique? Or is it because he's not a living person? If he's not a living person, could he be a ghost?" "Kid, don't be an alarmist," a cultivator said coldly with a cold look in his eyes. The cursed doll said, "We can't stay at the city gate any longer. Let's leave quickly. I have a feeling that something is going to happen here." Lin Feng was shocked. The cursed doll had always been sensitive. Since it said that, it meant that danger was about to befall them. Therefore, they had to be on guard. Otherwise, something big would happen. "Let's go," Lin Feng said and left with the cursed doll. They didn't go too far. Instead, they stood on a 2-story building not far away and looked in the direction of the city gate from time to time. They could see what was happening at the city gate from where they were hiding. Not long after, a cold aura spread out. Black fog rolled and shrouded the group of cultivators guarding the city gate. Clang, clang, clang. It was the sound of chains clanging against each other. There seemed to be a terrifying creature hiding in the black fog. Now that the terrifying creature had appeared, it was attacking the cultivators guarding the city gate. "What the hell is that?" a cultivator cried out in fear as if he had seen something strange. However, his voice disappeared soon after. The black fog retreated, leaving behind pools of blood at the city gate. The cultivators had all disappeared. The black fog quickly shrouded the place where Lin Feng and the cursed doll were hiding. It was terrifying and eerie. "Oh no, let's leave quickly. If we don't leave now, we'll be in trouble." Seeing the black fog gathering, Lin Feng's expression changed drastically. He quickly rushed outside. The cursed doll followed closely behind Lin Feng and rushed outside. The black fog rolled behind them, and the sound of chains clanging against each other could be heard from the black fog. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine when he sensed the terrifying Qi hidden in the black fog. The cursed doll looked back and screamed in fright. "They're here! They're here! If I was at my peak, I wouldn't be afraid of the terrifying existence behind me. It's true that a dragon in the shallows is toyed with by shrimps, and a tiger in the plains is bullied by dogs," Lin Feng said. "Save your energy and run!" Not long after that, Lin Feng saw a cultivator in blood-red robes appear before him. His blood-red robes gave him an incomparably peculiar appearance. The blood-red robe quickly expanded, enveloping several dozen cultivators. In an instant, all the cultivators enveloped by the blood-red robes were reduced to dried corpses. His flesh, blood, and essence were sucked dry. "It's that blood-robed cultivator!" Lin Feng felt his scalp go numb. The sound of chains colliding could be heard in the black fog. A cultivator in a blood-red robe. All of this was far too terrifying. The blood-robed cultivator blocked his path. Behind him, the black fog churned and the chains clashed. The creatures within the black fog had already caught up to him. Whoosh! The blood-red robe fluttered in the wind and continued to expand. Then, it enveloped Lin Feng and the cursed doll. If they were enveloped by it, they would not have a good ending. The tragic deaths of the cultivators from before proved too many problems. "Let's fight!" Lin Feng's expression was cold. He summoned 2 stone swords and attacked the blood-robed cultivator. At the same time, he summoned the heavenly mystery pagoda to protect him and the cursed doll. The cursed doll, on the other hand, used its curse technique to deal with the blood-robed cultivator. The wide blood-red robe enveloped them. At this critical moment, the cursed doll quickly attacked and the power of the curse struck the blood-red robe. The blood-red robe's speed instantly slowed down. At the same time, Lin Feng's 2 stone swords quickly flew out. Pfft! The stone swords instantly pierced through the blood-red robe. The blood-red robe quickly retreated and pulled away from the stone swords. Lin Feng's face was filled with shock. There was no one in the blood-red robe. Previously, when he saw this existence shrouded in the blood-red robe and wearing a bamboo hat, he thought that it was a cultivator. However, he now knew that it was all a cover-up. There was no one in the blood-red robe and it was not a cultivator. The aura emitted from the blood-red robe was extremely terrifying and eerie. It would make people mistakenly think that it was an evil cultivator, a ghost cultivator, or even an evil spirit. However, he did not expect the outcome to be like this. The blood-red robe was rapidly repairing itself. Perhaps, the blood-red robe itself had turned into a terrifying evil spirit. "Let's go," Lin Feng said in a low voice and quickly rushed over with the cursed doll. Although the blood-red robe was not destroyed, it was pierced by Lin Feng's stone swords and was slowly repairing itself. Therefore, it did not stop Lin Feng and the cursed doll. The 2 of them quickly got rid of the blood-red robe and the black fog that was chasing after them. Then, they found a place to rest. "This is too strange." Lin Feng's expression was uncertain. This ancient city was too strange. It was terrifying and even made people feel despair. From time to time, screams could be heard coming from the ancient city. Cultivators kept dying. The cursed doll said, "This ancient city might really be related to immortals. Such a strange blood-red robe and such a terrifying black fog. I don't know how the sound of chains colliding came about. I reckon that some terrifying existences had indeed fallen here in the past." Lin Feng said, "It seems that there are indeed some good things in this place. It's just that we don't dare to look for them now." Not long after, Lin Feng saw more than 10 figures. One of them attracted Lin Feng's attention. Dugu Tian was actually this person. He was a top genius of the Supreme Immortal Sect. He had clashed with Lin Feng many times, but the 2 of them had never fought to the death. And now, Dugu Tian had actually come here. Lin Feng did not have a good impression of Dugu Tian and the Supreme Immortal Sect. Ever since the myriad races, the foreign races, and other foreign forces entered the 9 regions, the Supreme Immortal Sect had colluded with these forces to deal with the native forces of the 9 regions, constantly expanding their sphere of influence. It was unknown how many cultivators of the 9 regions had fallen because of the Supreme Immortal Sect's collusion with these foreign forces. Right now, the Supreme Immortal Sect in the 9 regions had reached a point where both men and gods were furious. However, the Supreme Immortal Sect did not care about this at all. As for the lives of the cultivators of the 9 regions, they were naturally like ants and dogs. At this moment, the black fog rolled and a large amount of black fog enveloped Dugu Tian and the others. The sound of chains colliding could be heard. A terrifying creature appeared in the black fog. It was unknown what the hell it was. Chapter 2862. The black fog quickly dissipated. Lin Feng's face was filled with shock. Dugu Tian did not manage to escape. Dugu Tian was a person with great luck. His talent was extremely heaven-defying. When Lin Feng had just arrived in the 9 prefectures, Dugu Tian was already a legendary existence. Now that the 9 prefectures had undergone great changes, opportunities appeared one after another. For someone like Dugu Tian, who had great luck, it was unknown how many benefits he had obtained. Now, his luck was much stronger than before. His cultivation had also increased by many times. But in the end, he had died in the black fog? If Dugu Tian had continued to grow, he would definitely have become a peerless expert. Now that he had died so tragically, his death was too humiliating. Perhaps this is Dugu Tian's fate. It's good that he's dead. I don't have to do anything. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. Originally, he would have had a battle to the death with Dugu Tian. But now that Dugu Tian was dead, Lin Feng did not have to do anything. Lin Feng was happy to have nothing to do. Brat, you're dead. There's a shocking secret hidden here. That secret is enough to consign you to eternal damnation. At that moment, the Ghost Emperor in the ghost-raising jar spoke in a sinister voice. It was filled with schadenfreude. What secret? Lin Feng could not help but frown as he asked. The Ghost Emperor said, Do you want to know? If you want to know, perhaps you can beg me. Maybe I'll tell you if I'm in a good mood. Damn it! If you don't want to tell me, then don't tell me. If I really meet a calamity here, I'll definitely kill you before I die, Lin Feng said with a cold smile. Then, he cut off the connection with the Ghost Emperor. I'm afraid something big is about to happen. Lin Feng took a deep breath and said. The cursed doll nodded and said, I can feel it. A shadow has appeared in my heart. Cultivators usually had extremely sharp senses. This was especially so for an existence like the cursed doll. It had many shocking methods. Its senses were even sharper and more direct. Now that the cursed doll had sensed danger, it was enough to explain many things. The current situation was definitely not good for Lin Feng and the cursed doll. Rumble! Not long after, the entire ancient city shook violently. The earth shook and the mountains shook. He didn't know what had happened. Lin Feng and the cursed doll floated in midair and looked into the depths of the ancient city. The epicenter is over there. Lin Feng pointed at the center of the ancient city. Floating in midair, he could see that a large number of palaces were collapsing. Roar, roar, roar! Following that, a deep roar resounded through the clouds, and a terrifying, suffocating pressure spread out. Endless flames soared into the sky. Within the void, blazing flames filled the entire world. I'm finally going to break free. After being imprisoned for countless years, I can finally see the light of day again. In order to suppress me, 9 immortals died. However, I have returned, while you all have turned into dried bones, unable to reincarnate for all eternity. A series of deep roars resounded through the sky. Oh my God, what kind of existence is that? 9 immortals actually died in order to suppress him. Lin Feng's face was filled with deep shock. He couldn't believe his ears. That existence was too terrifying, wasn't it? Could it be an existence from before the immortal ancient era? Lin Feng muttered. No, it should be an existence from the immortal ancient era or one of the eras after it. Experts from before the immortal ancient era are known as innate lifeforms, not immortals. Lin Feng nodded and said, Let's go and see what kind of terrifying existence it is. The cursed doll agreed to Lin Feng's suggestion. Of course, they didn't get too close to the location. There were still some cultivators in the surroundings carefully moving toward the center of the ancient city. Like Lin Feng and the cursed doll, they all wanted to see what kind of existence it was. Within the endless flames, a terrifying existence stood up. Lin Feng finally saw what kind of existence it was. The terrifying existence was shaped like a huge red scorpion. It had a flaming tail that was several hundred meters long. It also had a pair of huge wings, and an incomparably evil aura emanated from its body. An otherworldly existence! When he saw that existence, Lin Feng couldn't help but gasp. That strange existence was definitely an otherworldly existence, because this wasn't the first time Lin Feng had come into contact with otherworldly existences. He could clearly sense the unique aura of the otherworldly existence. This terrifying existence was an otherworldly existence, and an extremely terrifying one at that. Back then, 9 immortals had died before this otherworldly existence could be suppressed. From this, one could tell how powerful the otherworldly existence's cultivation was. Who knew how many years this otherworldly existence had been suppressed for? It hadn't been suppressed to death even after such a long time. Who knew how powerful this otherworldly existence was when it was at its peak? There were 2 other existences floating in the distance. One was the blood-red robed figure, who seemed to be looking at the otherworldly existence from afar. The other was the existence holding the chains in the black fog. That mysterious existence was also looking at the otherworldly existence from afar. Other than these 2 existences, there was a third. Dugu Tian. This fellow actually didn't die. Congratulations on breaking free, Senior. Dugu Tian knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the otherworldly existence. Ha ha ha, I have to thank you for being able to break free. The otherworldly existence laughed loudly. It was actually that damned Dugu Tian who released the otherworldly existence. Lin Feng's expression was extremely gloomy. The otherworldly existence was a scourge. In the past, when the otherworldly existence invaded this starry sky world, who knew how many great worlds were destroyed? Hence, when they encountered the otherworldly existence, there was only one word to describe it, and that was kill. They definitely couldn't release the otherworldly existence, because they were just too terrifying. Once they broke free, it would become extremely difficult to kill them. Moreover, the otherworldly existence's recovery ability was extremely powerful. Their battle prowess could be recovered in a relatively short period of time as they continuously devoured powerful bloodlines. The otherworldly existence in front of him had fought to the death of 9 immortals back then before he was suppressed. If his strength was recovered, wouldn't that be equivalent to an immortal realm otherworldly existence coming to the 9 provinces? At that time, for the 9 provinces, it would definitely be a disaster. This is what this junior should do, Dugu Tian said sincerely. You are a good seedling, worth nurturing, the otherworldly existence said. He stretched out his hand, and a ball of evil light entered Dugu Tian's body. Chapter 2863. Thank you, Senior, for your blessings. Thank you, Senior, for your blessings. Dugu Tian's cultivation had increased tremendously after receiving the benefits. He immediately thanked the foreign creature profusely. This Dugu Tian is truly a scourge. I'll kill him sooner or later. Lin Feng's eyes flashed with coldness. Dugu Tian's actions were simply despicable. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel murderous. There was no need to say anything to someone who sold out their ancestors for glory. Only by killing him and tearing him to pieces would he be able to vent the hatred in his heart. Cultivate well, I am very optimistic about your future. The creature couldn't help but say. Senior, don't worry. I won't let you down. I'll cultivate well and work hard to become someone who can serve you, Dugu Tian hurriedly said. You're also considerate, the foreign creature said. Then, he looked around coldly. He said coldly, the smell of blood is really nostalgic. Huh! They only saw the foreign creature open its bloody mouth, fiercely sucking in. Instantly, a powerful suction force surged out. Many cultivators flew towards the foreign creature, uncontrollably. Spare us, spare us! We're willing to submit! Many cultivators screamed in fear and began to beg for mercy, hoping that the foreign creature would let them live. However, the foreign creature's expression was cold. His eyes flashed with dense killing intent. He had no intention of letting these cultivators go. One cultivator after another was directly devoured by the foreign creatures, becoming their food. I'm a cultivator from the ancient god clan. If you kill me, you'll be making an enemy out of the entire ancient god clan. Have you thought about the consequences of making an enemy out of the ancient god clan? I'm from the Sky Devil clan. My grandfather is the Sky Devil Emperor. If you kill me, my grandfather won't let you off! When some cultivators saw that begging was useless, they began to threaten the foreign creature. They wanted to use the power behind them to scare the foreign creature away. They wanted to make the foreign creature wary, and then let them live. Normally, when people heard about these cultivators' backgrounds, they might really consider letting them go. However, the foreign creature didn't consider this at all. In the past, when the foreign creature descended into this universe, from the upper three realms, Heaven Realm, Chaos Xianhuang World, Underworld, to the 3,000 Great Worlds, there were many planets with life outside. Which place didn't tremble in fear at the mention of the foreign creature? Even the powerful ancient god clan, Sky Devil clan, and other clans didn't care about them. The arrogance of the foreign creatures was not something that the cultivators of these powers could compare to, nor was it something that the cultivators of these powers could imagine. Huff, huff! The foreign creatures didn't even say a single word to these cultivators, directly devouring them, their methods extremely domineering and bloody. Lin Feng and the cursed baby flew away, but they couldn't escape from the strange creature's attack. This foreign creature was. And for Lin Feng. It's you! Dugu Tian was shocked when he saw Lin Feng. He didn't expect to see Lin Feng here. Then, Dugu Tian sneered. He looked at Lin Feng with a sinister expression. Lin Feng was Dugu Tian's enemy. He also wanted to kill Lin Feng. Now that Lin Feng had appeared here, he was definitely going to die. Moreover, he didn't have to do it himself. This child's bloodline is so powerful! The foreign creature looked at Lin Feng and couldn't help but be shocked. He reached out and pointed at Lin Feng. An evil light surged into Lin Feng's dantian. Instantly, Lin Feng's bloodline began to circulate uncontrollably. Descendant of sinner's blood! The foreign creature narrowed his eyes and looked at Lin Feng. He sneered and said, I really didn't expect to see a descendant of sinner's blood here. I wonder if this is fate? That's right. It must be fate. This junior is fated to meet senior. Senior, please let this junior go! Lin Feng shouted. Right now, the most important thing was to get out of this place as soon as possible. As long as he could get out of this place, so what if he had to compromise with the foreign creature? Since it's fate, why don't you contribute your sinner's blood and let me devour it? The foreign creature sneered. Then, he stretched out his claws and grabbed at Lin Feng. They only saw a shocking scene happen. The foreign creature's claws continuously lengthened, and lengthened again and again. The claws stretched out, trying to grab Lin Feng. I'll fight you to the death! Lin Feng gritted his teeth and took out the 2 stone swords and the heavenly pagoda. He used the heavenly pagoda to protect himself. The 2 stone swords turned into 2 dazzling beams of killing light, slashing at the huge red claw. Clang! Clang! 2 consecutive clanging sounds rang out. Lin Feng's stone sword slashed at the huge claw. Instantly, sparks flew in all directions. The stone sword's power was truly terrifying. They were actually able to split apart the foreign creature's claw. One had to know that Lin Feng's cultivation was limited. He could only activate the stone swords and couldn't display their true power. If he could display the stone sword's true power, how terrifying would they be? They would probably be able to kill the foreign creature. Stone swords! They're stone swords! The foreign creature was shocked when he saw the stone swords in Lin Feng's hands. Clearly, the foreign creature recognized the stone swords and knew how terrifying they were. For such a treasure to fall into the hands of a lowly creature like you, it's like casting pearls before swine. These 2 stone swords, I want them! The foreign creature's voice was cold, and its huge claw shook the void. Evil light rolled, directly enveloping Lin Feng's 2 stone swords. Lin Feng activated the stone swords to attack the foreign creature, but he realized that the stone swords didn't move at all. He couldn't activate the stone swords at all. The foreign creature was too powerful and terrifying now. It actually suppressed Lin Feng's stone swords. Then, the foreign creature's huge claw swept towards Lin Feng, fiercely slamming into the defensive light barrier created by the heavenly pagoda. Lin Feng was sent flying. 9 consecutive attacks. The defensive light barrier created by the heavenly pagoda was destroyed by the foreign creature. Lin Feng was completely exposed in front of the foreign creature. Go to hell! The foreign creature's terrifying attack once again blasted towards Lin Feng. It seemed that Lin Feng was about to be killed. Lin Feng wanted to use the heaven patching technique to dodge the attack, but the foreign creature was too powerful. It actually imprisoned the surrounding void. Lin Feng couldn't use the heaven patching technique. Chapter 2864. Bang! Following a violent collision sound, the cultivator who suddenly appeared was extremely powerful. After his attack collided with the foreign creature's attack, he did not fall into a disadvantageous position at all. Great Peking! When he saw the cultivator, Lin Feng's face lit up with joy. It was the Great Peking! Lin Feng and the Great Peking had known each other for many years. Back when the Great Peking was injured, Lin Feng had already met him. When the Tianwu continent's southern region was in chaos, the Great Peking had almost died, but in the end, he managed to overcome his Dao injury and live a new life. After coming to the 9 continents, Lin Feng had not been able to meet the Great Peking. Now, he finally met the Great Peking. Previously, he had heard from the Little Peking and the others that the Great Peking and the Peacock King were trying to break through to the Emperor realm. They should be the first batch of cultivators to enter the chaotic ancient country. Now, the Great Peking had actually blocked the attack of the Great Peking. Although the Great Peking had been suppressed for countless years, the Great Peking's cultivation base had dropped greatly. However, for an existence like the Great Peking, even if the Great Peking still had a part of his cultivation base left, it was still terrifying enough. From the previous exchange, Lin Feng judged that the Great Peking was definitely at the Great Peking realm. Now that the Great Peking had blocked the Great Peking's attack, it seemed that the Great Peking had also broken through to the Great Peking realm. With the Great Peking's accumulation and talent, once he broke through to the Great Peking realm, he would be an extremely heaven-defying existence. The Great Peking was very similar to Lin Feng. They were both monstrous existences who could defeat opponents who were many levels higher than them. After breaking through to the Great Peking realm, their achievements would naturally be unimaginable. Are you all right? The Great Peking looked at Lin Feng and asked. I'm fine, Lin Feng said. He did not thank the Great Peking because the Great Peking was like an elder to him. Moreover, Lin Feng and the Little Peking had gone through life and death situations together. They were like brothers. If he was too courteous to his elder, he would appear distant. And the Great Rock King nodded his head as he grabbed out in the air. Immediately, the 2 stone swords suppressed by the foreign creatures flew towards the Great Peking. With the Great Peking's strength, controlling the 2 stone swords would allow him to erupt with terrifying power. The foreign creatures deserve death! The Great Peking's voice was indifferent as he looked at the foreign creatures. The 2 stone swords floated beside the Great Peking. The Great Peking's expression was ice cold, taking the initiative to slaughter his way towards the foreign creatures. So it's a golden-winged Great Peng that has become a monarch. Back then, I had once hunted and killed an immortal Peng from your clan. How dare an ant like you act so arrogantly in front of me? You really don't know what death is! The foreign creature's expression was ice cold. It opened its mouth and spat out a blast of evil light, blasting murderously towards the Great Peking. Just how strong was this guy at his peak? Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. The foreign creature said that he had killed an immortal Peng at his peak. Lin Feng didn't doubt the authenticity of the foreign creature's words at all. At his level, there was no need for him to lie to show off his strength. The immortal Peng should be a golden-winged Great Peng of the immortal realm. A golden-winged Great Peng of this level would definitely be incomparably terrifying, but in the end, it died at the hands of the foreign creature in front of him. From this, one could see just how strong the foreign creature was at his peak. Just thinking about it made one's heart tremble. The current you is no longer as strong as you were in the past. The Great Peking's expression was indifferent, but it was filled with killing intent. Controlling the two stone swords had greatly increased his battle prowess. Roar! A terrifying creature appeared from the evil mist spat out by the foreign creature. It was an evil beast, and it fought fiercely with the Great Pink King. The Great Pink King swung the stone swords and killed the evil beast. However, he didn't expect the evil beast to split into two and revive. Slash! The Great Pink King swung the stone swords again, cutting the evil beast into two. This time, the situation was the same as before. The evil beast split into two, and the two evil beasts became four evil beasts. The most terrifying thing was that the evil beast's strength didn't decrease at all. Moreover, it was as if they had undying bodies. The foreign creature's methods were indeed too strange. The Great Pink King seemed to have fallen into trouble. Ha 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 ha, lowly creature, let's see how you die under the claws of my evil beasts. The foreign creature laughed loudly, extremely confident in the evil beasts he had condensed. He believed that the Great Pink King would definitely die under the attacks of the evil beasts. The four evil beasts pounced towards the Great Pink King. One had to be careful when dealing with these evil beasts, because the slightest carelessness could cause one to be seriously injured by the evil beasts. The cursed doll said, "The foreign creature's methods are too strange. I don't think the senior of yours is a match for the foreign creature. Do you have a way to destroy the evil beasts?" Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. The cursed doll shook its head and said, "With our strength, we can't participate in a battle of this level. Therefore, even if we have a way to destroy this kind of attack, we can't use it now." Roar! 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 The four evil beasts' roars shook the sky as they crazily surrounded the Great Pink King. There was no defense at all, because the evil beasts didn't need any defense at all. The evil beasts had undying bodies. Even if they were killed by the Great Pink King, they could still be revived, and a new evil beast would be born. This was the most terrifying thing about the evil beasts. If they couldn't find a way to break this, they would definitely be in big trouble if this continued. After a bitter battle, the Great Pink King began to chant an incantation. He was using an extremely powerful divine ability. The immortal inheritance of the god of space frees the billions of voids in the world. As the incantation fell, a powerful force descended from the boundless void. This powerful force was extremely extraordinary. It contained an extremely high-level energy, which seemed to be the power of space. When the energy surged between heaven and earth, the entire world instantly froze. Even the four evil beasts that were fiercely attacking the Great Pink King were frozen in the void. It was to the extent where even the foreign creatures seemed to have been frozen in place. Slash! The Great Pink King held two stone swords in his hands and flew towards the foreign creature as fast as lightning. They directly slaughtered their way towards the foreign creatures, wishing to kill them. Spatial freeze. You actually know a divine ability like spatial freeze. This is a divine ability created by the first god of space. The foreign creature was shocked. The first god of space he was talking about was the first god of space of the era of titled gods. This was a sentient life form. It was said that when he was born, he had already grasped the power of the laws of space. This god of space was the founder of the Tao of space. His divine ability could be described as heaven-defying. Chapter 2865. You want to kill me? You're dreaming! Facing the Great Rock King's killing blow, the foreign creature couldn't help but roar loudly. Although the foreign creature's body was restricted, his fighting strength was still extremely heaven-defying. A ball of fiery red light was emitted from the foreign creature's body. When the Great Rock King's attack slashed towards the foreign creature, a loud bang rang out. A muffled bang rang out. The foreign creature's body actually exploded into a ball of flames and disappeared without a trace. The Great Rock King's attack missed. The foreign creature's attack was extremely strange. It was unknown what kind of divine ability it was, but it was able to neutralize the Great Rock King's peerless attack just like that. At this moment, a fiery red tail flew out from the void. The fiery red tail directly pierced through the void. Then, it pierced towards the Great Rock King's body. Just as the fiery red tail was about to pierce through the great Rock King's body, the great Rock King moved to the side in time, dodging the foreign creature's tyrannical attack. The foreign creature appeared 1,000 meters away. A pair of cold eyes looked coldly at the great Rock King, flickering with dense killing intent. The foreign creature's killing intent overflowed into the heavens. He wanted nothing more than to immediately kill the great Rock King, but the great Rock King's fighting strength was also extremely powerful. In the end, the foreign creature chose to retreat. Before leaving, the foreign creature sneered and said, "My recovery speed will be very fast. Once I recover a portion of my strength, it will be the time of your death." After saying this, the foreign creature grabbed the blood-red robe, the mysterious existence holding the chains in the black fog, and Tian quickly left. After they left, the great Rock King handed the 2 stone swords to Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, "Senior, the foreign creature's methods are very strange. Now that he has escaped, I'm afraid he will bring disaster to the world." The great Ping King nodded with a solemn expression. He sighed and said, "This Tian is truly despicable to the extreme. He actually released a foreign creature. This will be very troublesome. I need to find the Peacock King. I hope that we can work together to kill this foreign creature." "Then I'll go with you," Lin Feng said. The cursed doll shouted, "Me too. I'll go with you." The great Rock King nodded. He grabbed Lin Feng and the cursed doll, and they quickly left the ancient city. "You and Senior Peacock King have both broken through to the great Emperor realm?" On the way, Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. The great Rock King nodded and said, "Peacock King and I were very lucky. We found a few Chaos Immortal fruits. After consuming them, we broke through the shackles on our bodies." It was said that the Primal Chaos Ancient Nation was destroyed in a great battle between the Xiantian lifeforms. The third theory is that the Primal Chaos Ancient Nation was an ancient world created by the first Lord of Gods after the Xiantian lifeforms. As for how it was destroyed, there is no explanation. However, no matter what, countless years had passed, and the Primal Chaos Ancient Nation was buried in countless secrets. These secrets were destined to be buried by history. The only thing we can do now is to excavate the treasures in the Primal Chaos Ancient Nation and increase our strength. Lin Feng nodded. "That's right. Chaos is coming, and if we don't increase our cultivation as soon as possible, I'm afraid that when the time comes, only death will await us." "I'm glad that you can see the current situation clearly," said the great Rock King. 3 days later, Lin Feng met the Peacock King. The Peacock King was dressed in white, and the passage of time had not left any traces on his face. He still looked like he was 16 or 17 years old, and was extraordinarily handsome. After seeing Lin Feng, the Peacock King smiled. "It's been many years since we last met, and I've heard a few things about you. Now, we finally meet again in the 9 continents. This junior has also missed Senior. I'm overjoyed to see Senior again." Lin Feng cupped his fists and congratulated the Peacock King. "Senior, congratulations on breaking through to the great Emperor realm," the Peacock King faintly said. "Only after breaking through did I realize how vast the world is. The great Emperor realm is perhaps only the starting point of cultivation." Hearing the Peacock King's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. The great Emperor realm was only the starting point of cultivation. The Peacock King must have discovered some shocking secrets after breaking through to the great Emperor realm. Chapter 2866. What Lin Feng needs to do now is to break through to the Boundary Emperor realm, then look for an opportunity to break through to the Great Emperor realm. There are many things that can only be understood after breaking through to the Great Emperor realm, said the Great Ping King. The Peacock King nodded and said, "That's right. Cultivate diligently. With your talent, I believe that even if you break through to the Great Emperor realm, you will be able to reach it very soon," Lin Feng said. "I dare not slack off. I can only cultivate diligently. As for whether I succeed or fail, that will depend on the will of the heavens." The Great Ping King and the Peacock King smiled. Among the younger generation, they had high hopes for Lin Feng. Whether it was in terms of talent, will, or comprehension, Lin Feng was almost perfect. Therefore, they were looking forward to seeing what kind of level Lin Feng could grow to in the future. The great Pink King then told the Dragon Sparrow King about the foreign creature. After hearing about it, the Peacock King's expression turned serious. He asked, "Can we confirm the foreign creature's location now?" The great Pink King said, "Although the foreign creature's strength is not what it used to be, he can still use many tricks. This person can cross the sea without anyone knowing. It will be extremely difficult to lock onto his location. Let's go find the Fire Crow Taoist. He knows divination techniques, so he will definitely be able to find the foreign creature's location," said the Peacock King. "All right." The great Pink King nodded. Together with the Peacock King, Lin Feng, and the Cursed Doll, they went to find the Fire Crow Taoist. The Fire Crow was a kind of creature born from flames. Back then, Lin Feng and the little Pink King had seen a cursed Fire Crow. Of course, according to the Fire Crow, his original body was not a Fire Crow, but a human cultivator. However, after being cursed, he turned into a Fire Crow. Fire Crows represented misfortune. In fact, the Fire Crows were a branch of crows. Crows represented misfortune, and Fire Crows were even more so. Fire Crows were an extremely rare kind of creature. That Fire Crow wasn't a real Fire Crow. After all, it was a human cultivator who had been cursed. Therefore, Lin Feng had been practicing cultivation for so many years and had been to so many places, but he had never seen a real Fire Crow. "Who is this Fire Crow Taoist?" Lin Feng could not help but ask. "He is an expert from the fiend race. He has lived for an extremely long time, and his temperament is a bit strange. He is also the sworn brother of the Peacock King and I," the great Pink King said. Lin Feng was astonished. He had never thought that there would be such a relationship. He then asked, "Is this Taoist Fire Crow an expert from the 9 Provinces Demon Clan?" Peacock King nodded and said, "That's right, he is an expert from the 9 Continents Demon Clan, but I think you should have heard of him before. Back then, Fire Crow Taoist lived in Sky Martial Continent for many years, and at that time, he changed his name to Fire Crow Sage." "It's him." Lin Feng was shocked. He had naturally heard of the Fire Crow Sage before. He was one of the most ancient experts in the Sky Martial Continent. Lin Feng never thought that this Fire Crow Sage was actually the Fire Crow Taoist. This person had really hidden himself well. It seems that the reason why the Great Pink King and Peacock King led so many monster clan cultivators to the 9 continents was to seek refuge with Fire Crow Taoist. A day later, in the evening, Lin Feng and a few others rested in front of a pond. When night fell, Lin Feng killed a gigantic python and a ferocious tiger. Then, he made some snake soup and roasted some meat. Lin Feng had always been a person who knew how to enjoy life, and good food could bring him joy. Many times, Lin Feng felt that living in this world, one would be troubled by all sorts of things. Only when one was eating and sleeping would they be the happiest. That was because this was the time to relax, and it was time to do things for oneself. The Great Pink King and Peacock King rarely ate. They mostly ate spirit fruits to satisfy their hunger and replenish their energy. But now that they smelled the roasted meat and snake soup, they could not help but feel hungry. Together with Lin Feng and the Cursed Doll, they sat around the bonfire and ate. "Kid, your culinary skills are not bad," the Great Pink King said. Lin Feng said, "When I was young, I followed the elders of my clan into the forest to hunt. At that time, a clan uncle told me that to live in the forest, one must first ensure that one does not starve to death. So from then on, I learned how to roast meat. Many foods, even some meats, are poisonous, but if they are burned, the meats will change, and we will be able to detect it in time, so we will not be poisoned to death. So in the forest, one must eat cooked food." The Great Pink King said, "Your clan uncle was right. To survive in the forest, one must ensure that one survives, and that is often the most difficult thing." Caw, caw, caw. At that moment, the cawing of a crow came from afar, and a ball of fire burned fiercely, burning the void. Within the flames, a fire crow flapped its wings and flew quickly towards them. Big Brother is here. The great Pink King and Peacock King stood up. Lin Feng and the cursed doll hurriedly stood up as well. The fire crow descended and turned into a skinny old man. This old man was Fire Crow Taoist. What a fragrant roast meat, you came at the right time. After arriving, Fire Crow Taoist sat down on the ground and grabbed a piece of roast meat, eating it in large bites. The great Pink King and Peacock King knew Fire Crow Taoist's temperament very well, so they were not surprised. They called Lin Feng and the cursed doll to sit down and continue eating. The great Pink King and Peacock King did not mention anything about the otherworldly creatures. Fire Crow Taoist was like a hungry ghost, digesting the roast meat in a frenzy. Not long after, the roast meat was finished. Fire Crow Taoist looked at Lin Feng and said, "Brat, it was you who roasted it, right? That bit just now was not enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. Continue roasting, roast more! Senior, please wait a moment." Lin Feng stood up and walked over to the tiger's corpse. He cut off a large piece of the tiger's meat and rubbed it over the bonfire to continue roasting. "How can there be no wine when there is meat? Come, 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 have a taste of the good wine I recently obtained." Fire Crow Taoist took out a few jugs of wine and invited everyone to have a taste. After the meal, the great Pink King introduced Lin Feng and the cursed doll to Fire Crow Taoist. "So you are the human race's junior, not bad indeed." Fire Crow Taoist squinted his eyes and looked at Lin Feng, praising him. "Senior, you are too kind," Lin Feng said humbly. Then, the great Pink King and Peacock King mentioned the otherworldly creatures to Fire Crow Taoist. After hearing about the otherworldly creatures, Fire Crow Taoist's expression turned serious. He said, "The otherworldly creatures must be eliminated as soon as possible, otherwise they will become a huge threat. Let me deduce the whereabouts of the otherworldly creatures." Fire Crow Taoist took out 7 pieces of tortoiseshell to deduce. In fact, Lin Feng had also been practicing the art of divination recently, but with his strength, he was not able to deduce the whereabouts of the otherworldly creatures. However, Fire Crow Taoist's methods were heaven-defying, and he was proficient in the art of divination. He placed the 7 pieces of tortoiseshell into a jade tube and shook it continuously, chanting while shaking it. Chapter 2867. Seeing the 7 pieces of tortoiseshell on the ground, the great Pink King asked, "What did the divination say?" "Southwest. Let's go and find that foreign creature," said the Fire Crow Taoist. Swoosh, 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 everyone soared into the sky and flew towards the southwest as fast as lightning. One day later, Lin Feng and the others found the foreign cultivators and the others. When they arrived, the foreign creature was attacking a group of foreign cultivators. There was no lack of experts among the foreign cultivators, but they were no match for the foreign creature at all. Those extraterritorial race cultivators were killed by the foreign beings one after another, and then the foreign beings devoured their flesh, blood, and soul essences. Every time the foreign creature devoured the flesh and soul essence of a powerful cultivator, its battle prowess would increase greatly. Today was no exception. The foreign creature's battle prowess was many times stronger than before. In just a few days, its cultivation had increased by so much. It was hard to imagine how terrifying it would be when it recovered. At that time, it would be extremely heaven-defying. Was there anyone in this world who could defeat the foreign creature? "You guys came at the right time. This lord has recovered a lot. Now is the time to kill you all and steal your flesh and soul essence. If this lord devours your flesh and soul essence, this lord's cultivation will increase by leaps and bounds." The foreign creature's voice was cold as it looked at the great Pink King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist. "GGG. I'll help you stall one of them," the mysterious chain-wielding existence in the black fog said eerily. It was unknown what kind of creature it was, but Lin Feng suspected that it might be related to the underworld because it was emitting an aura of death. Although it wasn't particularly obvious, Lin Feng could still sense it. The aura of death was very terrifying. It was an aura that only the underworld cultivators had. It was abnormally terrifying and shocking. The blood-red robe fluttered in the wind. It was about to join the battle as well. During the first confrontation, the existence with the chains and the blood-red robe didn't participate in the battle. This time, they wanted to participate in the battle. Originally, Lin Feng thought that the existence holding the chain and the blood-red robe and the black fog might be the subordinates of the foreign creatures. However, from the way the existence holding the chain and the black fog addressed the foreign creatures, this was not the case. If they were not subordinates, then they might be allies. When the Great Pink King fought with the foreign creatures, these two existences did not make a move. Perhaps it was because they had not reached an agreement with the foreign creatures. Now that they had made a move, it meant that both sides had reached an agreement. Good! Once I get rid of one of them, the other two will be easy to deal with. The foreign creature released a sinister laugh. Whoosh! Immediately afterwards, the foreign creature took the initiative to fly towards the Great Pink King. Last time, he suffered a bit under the Great Pink King's hands, so the foreign creature harbored resentment, wishing to kill the Great Pink King. Senior! Stone sword. Lin Feng took out the stone sword, allowing the Great Pink King to temporarily take control of it. The stone sword was very powerful. In the hands of the Great Pink King, it could display extraordinary power. It was enough to injure the foreign creatures. The Great Pink King held the two stone swords in his hands and attacked the foreign creature. The blood-red robe flew towards the Peacock King. Within the black fog, the mysterious chain-wielding being let out a sinister laugh. He locked on to Flaming Crow Taoist and charged at him, intending to stall him. Come with me, let's get rid of Dugu Di Tian. Lin Feng looked at the cursed doll. Hee, no problem. This guy is also someone with great luck. Once we kill him, we can steal his luck. The cursed doll laughed sinisterly. Lin Feng and the cursed doll quickly rushed towards Dugu Di Tian. Dugu Di Tian, you are really a selfish and despicable person. For your own selfish desires, you actually released the foreign creature. Today, I will kill you. After you go to hell, pray that you don't see me in your next life, because no matter if it is in this life or the future, I will kill you every time I see you. Lin Feng's voice was cold. He directly took out the Demon Emperor's small world and attacked Dugu Di Tian. The Demon Emperor's small world was one of Lin Feng's trump cards. In order to kill Dugu Di Tian, Lin Feng did not hold back at all. As for the cursed doll, it hid behind Lin Feng and began to chant incantations. It was secretly attacking Dugu Di Tian. Reckless thing, you want to fight me with just your strength? You really don't know your own strength. Dugu Di Tian laughed coldly and took out his halberd. With the halberd in his hand, he looked like an invincible war god. Bang, 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 the halberd's power was extremely terrifying. Strike after strike landed on the Demon Emperor's small world, and it actually shook Lin Feng's small world. Dugu Di Tian was already an extremely heaven-defying existence. Not long ago, he had received the blessing of the foreign creature, and his battle strength had increased tremendously. Indeed, it was not an easy task to kill this person. Success? The cursed doll suddenly pointed at Dugu Di Tian. Its eyes could not help but light up. The cursed doll secretly used the Great Curse technique to attack Dugu Di Tian. But at this moment, runes surrounded Dugu Di Tian and blocked the cursed doll's attack. Cursed doll, I know that you are proficient in the Great Curse technique, so I have been guarding against you. The Great Curse technique is not without a counter. Dugu Di Tian laughed coldly. It was as if he had already planned everything. With the halberd in his hand, he closed in on Lin Feng step by step. The halberd waved continuously, and Lin Feng's small world was almost sent flying. F***ck, how is this guy so powerful? Lin Feng's expression was incomparably gloomy. Dugu Di Tian's strength had exceeded Lin Feng's expectations. If this continued, it would be very disadvantageous for him. A thought flashed through Lin Feng's mind. He immediately said, Dugu Di Tian, did you know that Su Miaoqing was suppressed by me for a long time? Su Miaoqing is your fiancé, right? many wonderful things happened between me and Su Miaoqing. It's something that is worth remembering for a lifetime. The man was burning with passion, and the woman was passionate and unrestrained. Even now, when I think of the scene back then, I still feel a little emotional. You are courting death. Hearing Lin Feng's description, Dugu Ditian's eyes were instantly filled with killing intent. His hatred for Lin Feng could be described as bone deep. He roared and charged towards Lin Feng. The battle spear in his hand continuously stabbed towards Lin Feng. The woman that he viewed as his exclusive property had not even been touched by him, and Lin Feng had already taken advantage of her. How could Dugu Ditian accept such a thing? Now that Dugu Ditian had been provoked, he attacked Lin Feng like a madman. Pooh! At this moment, the cursed doll found Dugu Ditian's weakness and used the great curse technique to injure Dugu Ditian. Chapter 2868. Kill the heart! Lin Feng had always remembered these words. Now that he mentioned Su Miaoqing's matter to provoke Dugu Ditian, he was actually using these words. Using Su Miaoqing's matter to provoke Dugu Ditian was a little despicable. However, one had to see who the despicable method was directed at. Dugu Ditian had actually released an existence like the foreign creatures for his own selfish desires. Once the foreign creatures were released, how many massacres would they cause? How many people would die in the hands of the foreign creatures? At that time, blood would flow like rivers and corpses would pile up like mountains. Therefore, there was no such thing as despicable when dealing with someone like Dugu Ditian. Any method to deal with Dugu Ditian was noble. Even if someone like Dugu Ditian died 10,000 times or 100,000 times, it wouldn't be a pity. A loud rumbling sound resounded through the world. Under Lin Feng's control, the Demon Emperor's small world emitted a destructive wave that directly crashed towards Dugu Ditian. Dugu Ditian's battle prowess was heaven-defying, but he had just been attacked by the great curse art. His injuries weren't light. Dugu Ditian wasn't like Lin Feng, who had the undying divine body and could recover from his injuries in a short period of time. He needed to slowly recover from his injuries. Therefore, this was the best opportunity to kill Dugu Ditian. If he couldn't kill Dugu Ditian now, when Dugu Ditian recovered, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to kill him. Lin Feng was very clear about this point. Therefore, Lin Feng pushed the power of the Demon Emperor's small world to the extreme. At the same time, Lin Feng used the One Spirit into Three Pure Ones technique. The 9 layers of domineering aura stacked together to form an extremely powerful magnetic field. This powerful magnetic field enveloped Dugu Ditian, forming an extreme restriction on Dugu Ditian. Dugu Ditian's movements had become extremely difficult. Lin Feng's great imperial bestial small world continued moving towards Dugu Ditian, trying to kill him. At the same time, Lin Feng used all sorts of treasures: 9 demons picture, Purgatory Demon's Spear, 5 Dragon's Wheel, Hell King Bell. These treasures were all taken out and attacked Dugu Ditian. The cursed doll was also chanting continuously. Its chanting speed was getting faster and faster. The cursed doll was using the great curse technique to assist Lin Feng in dealing with Dugu Ditian. Faced with so many attacks, Dugu Ditian's expression changed drastically. If he hadn't been injured by the cursed doll, he was confident that he could deal with Lin Feng's various attacks. But now that he was injured, how could he withstand such a powerful attack? Dugu Ditian opened his mouth and spat out a jade talisman. That jade talisman was a supreme treasure, and it was activated by Dugu Ditian. Then, the jade talisman transformed into a golden energy shield. Clang, 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 all sorts of attacks bombarded the golden light barrier outside Dugu Ditian, producing a series of clanging sounds. However, these attacks were unable to break through the golden energy barrier formed by the jade talisman. The defensive power of the golden energy shield was too tyrannical, which made Lin Feng very surprised. Boundless golden light barrier! It's actually that kind of jade talisman. Rumor has it that this is a type of jade talisman passed down from Buddhism. It's blessed with boundless golden light, forming a light barrier with astonishing defensive power. It's extremely difficult to destroy this boundless golden light barrier. The cursed doll recognized the golden light barrier and couldn't help but exclaim in a serious tone. A light barrier is actually so powerful? Lin Feng was shocked. He hadn't expected the power of a light barrier to be so tyrannical. Lin Feng, I've been ambushed today, and I can't use my full strength. I won't continue fighting with you. Once I recover, I'll definitely take your life. Dugu Tian said coldly after seeing the golden energy shield block Lin Feng and the cursed doll's various attacks. His expression was indifferent, and a sinister light flashed in his eyes. Following that, Dugu Tian flew into the distance, intending to escape. Lin Feng sneered and said, Dugu Tian, do you think you can escape just because you want to? You must be dreaming. Today, no one will be able to save your life. I'll take your life. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng began to activate the small world of the Shifter Emperor. 1. The small world of the Shifter Emperor expanded rapidly, enveloping Dugu Tian, who was trying to escape. A powerful suction force surged out. It wanted to devour Dugu Tian. Not good! Dugu Tian's expression changed drastically. If he was devoured by the small world of the Shifter Emperor, he would be like a turtle in a jar, unable to escape even if he had wings. Dugu Tian knew this very well. Hence, the current situation was extremely dangerous. Dugu Tian increased his speed, wanting to rush out of the small world of the Shifter Emperor. However, it was already too late. The powerful suction force surged out of the small world of the Shifter Emperor, instantly sucking Dugu Tian into the small world of the Shifter Emperor. Let's go. Enter the small world of the Shifter Emperor and kill him. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he entered the small world of the Shifter Emperor with his 2 clones and the cursed doll. Whoosh! 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 Within the small world of the Shifter Emperor, chains of order were dancing in midair. Those chains of order were all wrapped around Dugu Tian. Dugu Tian waved the halberd in his hand and swept it towards the chains of order. Clang! 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 The halberd in Dugu Tian's hand swept towards the chains of order in the small world of the Shifter Emperor. However, it was unable to break those chains of order. At this moment, Lin Feng, his 2 clones, and the cursed doll all attacked. All sorts of magic treasures and abilities were thrown towards Dugu Tian. Those attacks were all blocked by the golden energy barrier. However, under the continuous attacks, the golden energy barrier that was protecting Dugu Tian was gradually unable to hold on. Finally, it shattered. Without the protection of the golden energy barrier, Dugu Tian was unable to hold on by himself. Very quickly, he was sent flying by Lin Feng's magic treasure. Then, the dense chains of order locked onto Dugu Tian's body. Why is it like this? I can't accept this. Dugu Tian struggled violently. His face was contorted as he kept roaring. His eyes revealed a sinister gaze as he stared fixedly at Lin Feng. Those who are unjust are doomed to destruction. You only have yourself to blame for ending up like this. Lin Feng's voice was cold as he walked towards Dugu Tian step by step. Don't kill me, don't kill me. As long as you don't kill me, I can agree to any of your conditions. Dugu Tian begged. He had a bright future, so he didn't want to die. Your actions have made me look down on you. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he arrived in front of Dugu Tian and punched towards him. Bang! Dugu Tian's body exploded as his soul shattered. Chapter 2870. However, Lin Feng's actions didn't stop because of the shock in his heart. When the Peacock King's killing light tore the blood-red robe in half, Lin Feng controlled the 4 heavenly flames to continue attacking the blood-red robe. The 4 heavenly flames burned fiercely and became more and more vigorous. The blood-red robe was burned by the 4 heavenly flames, and a part of the robe's fabric had already been burned to ashes. This was an extremely heavy blow to the blood-red robe, and it let out a resentful roar. Brat, if it wasn't for you, How could I have suffered such serious injuries? I'll remember you. Just you wait, I'll definitely come back to take your life. The blood-red robe's method was very powerful and strange. It tore through the void, turned into a dazzling light, and then disappeared without a trace. I'll go help the great Pin King, the Peacock King said and quickly rushed towards the foreign creature. Lin Feng and the cursed doll flew towards the Fire Crow Taoist. The two of them helped the Fire Crow Taoist deal with the terrifying existence holding the chain in the black fog. The clanging sound of chains clanging against each other could be heard. In the black fog, the chain constantly flew out, whipping the bell of Hell King again and again. Runes swirled around the Hell King's bell, and each rune was mysterious. When the chain collided with the bell of Hell King, the runes on the black chain would emit cracking sounds. It was obvious that the black chain was restrained by the bell of Hell King, and it was slowly being damaged by the collision. Heavenly flames burn! Lin Feng continued to use the heavenly flames to attack the mysterious existence holding the chain in the black fog. The heavenly flames restrained all evil creatures. Since this existence was related to the underworld, then it wasn't only the bell of hell that could restrain it. Even Lin Feng's heavenly flames could restrain this existence. The heavenly flames were often able to display amazing effects. And this time was no exception. Chi 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 chi, as the heavenly flames burned, the black fog in the void started to burn violently. Ha 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 ha, amazing, amazing, for heavenly flames, it's like a legend. Taoist Flaming Crow couldn't help but laugh. Under the joint attack of the four heavenly flames, the Hell King's bell, and the Fire Crow Taoist. Within the black fog, the mysterious being with the chain in his hand was also in great trouble. In the beginning, he was evenly matched with the Fire Crow Taoist, but gradually, he fell into a disadvantageous position, and now, he was being suppressed more and more. This creature was abnormally angry. Because of Lin Feng's participation in the battle, the originally evenly matched situation had changed. This time, the cursed doll unleashed its ability. Its great curse spell was successfully cast once again. Puchi! With the sound of flesh being pierced, the cursed doll's great curse technique pierced through the mysterious being's chest. Blood spurted out. Black blood! Lin Feng was shocked when he saw the blood spurt out. This was the first time he had seen this kind of black blood. This kind of blood exuded an incomparably fishy smell. It also seemed to contain a deadly poison. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown after seeing the blood. What exactly was this creature? The Flaming Crow Taoist seized the opportunity and rushed over. He slapped the mysterious creature with his palm and sent it flying. Wah! The mysterious being coughed up a mouthful of blood. Kid, I'll remember you! The mysterious being looked at Lin Feng with a cold gaze, filled with boundless killing intent. Then, his body suddenly exploded as he used an extremely strange escape technique to escape without a trace. Damn it, I'm just a support. Why is it always me that it remembers? Lin Feng couldn't help but feel depressed. First, it was the blood-red robe. Now, it was the strange being with the chain in the black fog. Before escaping, it said that it remembered him. It seemed that it was bearing a grudge against him. Lin Feng wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He was really wrong. Who did he offend? Why did it all bear a grudge against him? After the being with the chain in the black fog escaped, the Fire Crow Taoist quickly flew towards the foreign being, joining forces with the Great Rock King and the Peacock King to deal with the foreign being. The foreign being's methods were very strong, but it was not easy for it to fight 1 against 3. Lin Feng controlled the 9 demons picture, the 5 dragon wheel, and the small world of the Shifter Emperor to attack the foreign being. Although his cultivation was not enough to participate in this battle, Lin Feng had powerful magic treasures. He could use his magic treasures to participate in the battle from a distance. The cursed doll began chanting again. One after another, the cursed doll began to use the great curse technique to deal with the foreign being. The great curse art was indeed powerful. It was able to silently injure the opponent. However, if one knew how to restrain it and was constantly on guard against the great curse technique, it would be useless. the Great Curse technique would lose its effect. Other than that, the Great Curse technique had another weakness. Although the Great Curse technique was powerful, the success rate was not particularly high. The higher the cultivation of the opponent, the lower the success rate. However, as long as it succeeded once, it would often cause great damage to the opponent. The Great Rock King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist all displayed powerful attacks. The Great Rock King held Lin Feng's two stone swords. The stone swords instantly shattered the void and slashed towards the foreign being. The Peacock King took out an Emperor sword and slashed towards the foreign being. The Fire Crow Taoist activated the Bell of the Hell King and attacked the foreign being. The foreign being also had many magic treasures on him. He also took out several magic treasures to block the attacks of the Great Rock King, the Peacock King, the Fire Crow Taoist, and Lin Feng's magic treasures. Space freeze! The Great Rock King condensed his Great Rock skill and froze the void. Demon Saint World Destroying Fist! The Peacock King made his move and displayed a powerful offensive Great Rock skill, sweeping a fist towards the foreign being. Fire Crow Claw! The Fire Crow Taoist transformed into the Fire Crow Taoist's original body and clawed at the foreign being with his sharp claws. The foreign being fought 1 against 3. 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. He was sent flying by the Great Rock King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist. Wah! In midair, the foreign being spat out large mouthfuls of blood. A loud rumbling sound resounded through heaven and earth. At this time, the Demon Emperor's small world descended from the sky, suppressing towards the foreign being. Go! The foreign being's expression was extremely gloomy. Knowing that he was no match for so many experts, he turned around and wanted to escape. However, at this time, the foreign being suffered a heavy blow. He felt a sharp pain in his head and his body fell towards the ground uncontrollably. The Great Curse technique of the Curse Doll was successfully used and damaged the foreign being's soul. Meanwhile, the Demon Emperor's small world ruthlessly suppressed the foreign being's body. Bang! Chapter 2871. The foreign creature was seriously injured, which made Lin Feng's mind shake. He continued to control the Demon Emperor's small world to attack the foreign creature. Take advantage of his illness and kill him! The Great Pink King, Peacock King, and Fire Crow Taoist's eyes all revealed a cold look. They quickly rushed towards the foreign creature, wanting to take advantage of this opportunity to kill the foreign creature. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If they missed this opportunity, it wouldn't be easy to kill the foreign creature again. Boom! Terrifying fluctuations engulfed heaven and earth, surging in all directions. The Great Pink King, Peacock King, and Fire Crow Taoist all erupted with their strongest battle prowess as they charged towards the foreign creature. The foreign creature was now seriously injured. He was no match for the 3 great experts at all. He was once again sent flying, his entire body dripping with blood. His situation was incomparably miserable. In order to prevent the foreign creature from escaping, Lin Feng covered the void with all kinds of formation patterns to ensure that the foreign creature couldn't escape. The existence in the blood-red robe and the black fog holding the chains also fled. Although they were terrifying, it wasn't that there was no way to deal with them. If the foreign creature escaped, then it would be troublesome. Because back then, 9 immortals died in suppressing the foreign creature. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the foreign creature was. The foreign creature's recovery ability was extremely powerful. His strength could be quickly recovered in a short period of time. If they waited until the other side's creatures recovered, then wanting to kill the other side's creatures again would be almost impossible. At that time, Lin Feng and the others would probably have to flee 9 provinces. No one could suppress the foreign creature. At that time, only death would await them. Back then, this seat moved unhindered through the world. No less than 20 immortals died in this seat's hands. Who do you think you are? You want to kill this seat? This is simply wishful thinking. The foreign creature roared loudly, and a terrifying evil light surged out from his body. Crackle. The bones in his body were violently rubbing against each other. The foreign creature's body changed. It turned into a monster with a human body, a scorpion head, and a fiery red tail. Its entire body was covered in fiery red scales. The foreign creature turned into a monster that looked like a human but wasn't. The aura it emitted made one's hair stand on end. It was terrifying to the extreme. After transforming, the foreign creature's battle prowess was greatly increased. Regardless of whether it was speed, strength, or magic power, they all increased by a level. The foreign creature, whose strength had been greatly increased, became extremely terrifying. It actually managed to block the combined attacks of the Great Pink King, Peacock King, and Fire Crow Taoist. Ants like you all, back then, this Great One could kill you all with a single move of a finger. The foreign creature's voice was ice cold to the extreme. The Fire Crow Taoist laughed twice and said, "This is no longer your era. Are you still living in your own dream? You should have died long ago in the long river of history and not appear in this era. Today, we will send you to the Western Paradise." As soon as Taoist Fire Crow finished speaking, he began to flap his wings violently. Croak, 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 croak. A sharp, ear-piercing shriek was heard. Flames surged between heaven and earth. Amidst the flames, a dense crowd of fire crows appeared. Each of the fire crows was extremely powerful. It was unknown how many fire crows there were, but all of them rushed towards the foreign creature, their sharp claws clawing at the foreign creature. At the same time, the Great Pink King also used an extremely powerful divine ability. This divine ability was called Eternal Flower Bloom, Instant Bloom. This was definitely an unparalleled divine ability. A holy flower descended from the sky and suddenly bloomed. When the holy flower bloomed, it released a terrifying power that made people pale with fright. It was truly shocking. The eternal flower, Instant Bloom, contained killing intent, killing without a trace. The Peacock King also made his move. He also displayed an extremely powerful divine ability. An ancient world appeared behind him. That world was filled with densely packed weapons. 728,000 soldiers. This was the name of the divine ability that the Peacock King displayed. This divine ability could almost be described as heaven-defying. Terrifying fluctuations swept through heaven and earth. The 728,000 soldiers all flew out, slaughtering towards the foreign creatures. The Great Pink King, the Fire Crow Taoist, and the Peacock King's three divine abilities were simply too powerful. Although the foreign creature's combat strength had also increased greatly, it was still inferior to the attacks of the Great Pink King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist. Bang! The attacks of both sides fiercely collided, and the surrounding void began to shatter and collapse. The battle between both sides became more and more intense. However, either side could do anything to the other. Both sides entered a temporary stalemate. Pooh! However, just as the stalemate was formed, the foreign creature suffered another calamity, a bloody hole appearing in its chest. The cursed doll's great curse technique had a miraculous effect, injuring the foreign creature once again. Rumble! At the same time, a loud noise shook the heavens. The Demon Emperor's small world once again smashed towards the foreign creature. Bang! The Demon Emperor's small world was like an ancient immortal mountain floating in midair, fiercely smashing into the foreign creature's body, producing a deafening collision sound. The foreign creature suffered this terrifying blow, and was directly sent flying. Kacha-kacha sounds rang out, and it was unknown how many bones in its body were broken. "This lord will definitely kill the two of you." The foreign creature glared fiercely at Lin Feng and the cursed doll. In this life and death battle, it was Lin Feng and the cursed doll that were constantly inflicting damage on him, making the foreign creature go mad with hatred. The foreign creature no longer continued to fight. It turned around and rushed into the distance, wanting to quickly escape from this place. However, at this time, the formation patterns in the void interweaved, and the densely packed formation pattern sealed the heaven and earth, completely sealing off the foreign creature's escape route. "You can't escape. This will be your burial ground." Lin Feng looked at the foreign creature indifferently, his eyes filled with dense killing intent. Kill! The Great Ping King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist attacked with all their strength. Under the joint attack of the three great experts, the foreign creature finally couldn't hold on any longer, and its body directly exploded. This lord is unwilling to accept this. Back then, this lord slaughtered immortals like slaughtering dogs, but now, I am going to fall in the hands of a group of ants. This is truly an eternal hatred. The foreign creature couldn't help but roar in anger, his eyes turning blood red. He was extremely unwilling to die here like this. However, now, there was no way to reverse the situation. Chapter 2872. Phew! The only thing left of the foreign creature was its source energy floating in the air. Seeing that the foreign creature had fallen, everyone could finally heave a sigh of relief. The threat of the foreign creature was too great. Now that the foreign creature had fallen, it was also a joyous matter for the 9 provinces. They had finally gotten rid of a huge threat. Let's go. We can't stay here for long, the Great Ping King said. After Lin Feng collected the foreign creature's source energy, he left with the Great Ping King and the others. After they left, more and more people came to this place. Soon, however, those cultivators left. That was until a cultivator wearing a black robe arrived. No one knew who he was. The robe covered his face, so no one could see what he looked like. It wasn't easy for him to come into being, but he ended up with his soul scattered. How lamentable! The existence muttered. His voice was hoarse and unpleasant to the ears. He found some bloodstains that belonged to the foreign creature on the ground and collected them into a small porcelain bottle. The 5 signs of celestial decay have appeared, and monsters and demons have appeared. This world is getting more and more interesting. The black-robed cultivator played with the porcelain bottle in his hand. Only a pair of cold and terrifying eyes could be seen from the black robe. Now those eyes were flickering with a cold light. The great show of the destruction of the era has just begun. The madness before the destruction is the most exciting part. The black-robed cultivator smiled and gently pointed at the porcelain bottle. Roar! 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 A roar came from the porcelain bottle, and a blood-colored head condensed. That blood-colored head was shockingly the appearance of a foreign creature. Stop shouting. You're very noisy. Do you know that? The black-robed cultivator looked at the foreign creature in the porcelain bottle in annoyance. Didn't I die? My soul was scattered. Why did I come back to life? The foreign creature asked in disbelief. Do you know the soul reconstruction technique? I extracted part of your memories from your blood and created a new soul. The current you, strictly speaking, is no longer the previous you. Of course, from another perspective, the current you is still the previous you. It's just that you've forgotten many of your memories. Speaking of which, have you forgotten the hatred in your heart? The black-robed cultivator asked. How could I forget? How could he forget? The hatred in my heart can't be washed away even if all the water in the 4 seas is washed away. There is only killing intent in my heart. Kill, 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 kill. I want to kill all those people who destroyed my soul. I want to tear them into pieces. The foreign creatures roared out. No, 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 there's one person you can't kill. That person called Lin Feng, you can't kill him. If you kill him, it won't be fun anymore. I'll play with him properly. The black-robed cultivator laughed sinisterly. Who are you? With your ability, wouldn't it be easy for you to deal with that Lin Feng? Yet you didn't kill him. What exactly is your goal? The foreign creature noticed that something wasn't quite right, and then asked. The black-robed cultivator in front of them was really too mysterious. Moreover, the foreign creatures felt that this person was definitely an extremely terrifying existence. Even at his peak, he might not be a match for this person. This feeling was very strong, and the foreign creature didn't know why he had such a feeling. However, the foreign creature had always been very confident in his intuition. Logically speaking, such an existence shouldn't have crossed paths with human ants. Don't ask things you shouldn't ask. The black-robed cultivator laughed sinisterly. The black-robed cultivator who suddenly appeared had a mysterious origin. He seemed to be plotting something. However, Lin Feng didn't know much about this person. He didn't even know that such a person existed. Lin Feng and the others found a place to rest. The Great Ping King, Peacock King, and Fire Crow Taoist didn't need these essences, but Lin Feng and the Cursed Doll needed them to raise their cultivation. Lin Feng's cultivation was currently at the 8th layer of the Giant God realm. If he refined these essences, he might be able to raise his cultivation again. After all, these were the foreign creatures' essences. Although the cultivation of the foreign creatures was no longer the same as before, their essences were still very powerful. Lin Feng split the essences into two. He and the Cursed Doll each had one. Then, the two of them began to refine the foreign creatures' essences. The archaic dragonesque elephant art began to circulate. As the archaic dragonesque elephant art circulated, the foreign creatures' essences were gradually refined by Lin Feng. These powerful essences were all absorbed by Lin Feng's body. As his cultivation continued to increase, Lin Feng's breakthrough became more and more difficult. After all, Lin Feng's accumulation was too huge. A large amount of essences turned into pure energy. These energies were like a torrential river, surging endlessly in his body. When all the energy was absorbed by his body, Lin Feng's realm finally broke through from the 8th layer of the Giant God realm to the 9th layer of the Giant God realm. This made Lin Feng extremely happy. Looks like the harvest is not bad. Seeing that Lin Feng had woken up from his cultivation, the Great Ping King said with a smile. Lin Feng hurriedly nodded and said, "My cultivation has broken through to the 9th layer of the Giant God realm. I'm one step closer to the Great Emperor realm. The effects of the foreign creature's essences are not bad," Peacock King said with a smile. "This child is already so powerful with just this little bit of cultivation." Chapter 2873. The 9 mountains were surrounded by immortal qi. It was extremely strange. Lin Feng was also very confused. He didn't know why there were 9 mountains in a storage ring like this. Lin Feng's divine sense invaded the 9 mountains. After a careful search, he was immediately shocked. There were many spirit stones in the 9 mountains. The quality of these spirit stones was extremely high, surpassing any spirit stones that Lin Feng had seen before. Moreover, these spirit stones were emitting a faint immortal qi. This immortal qi was what shocked Lin Feng the most. If the spirit stones contained immortal qi, wouldn't they be immortal stones? Immortal stones referred to the extremely high-quality spirit stones from the heaven realm. Refining immortal stones had an extremely significant effect on cultivation. Lin Feng had only heard of immortal stones before, but he had never seen one before. If the spirit stones in front of him were immortal stones, their value would be unimaginable. These are not real immortal stones. They are still being nurtured. These should be 9 growing immortal veins. The demon lord's voice resounded in Lin Feng's mind. Growing immortal veins? Lin Feng was shocked, but at the same time, he was somewhat puzzled. He asked, "What's so special about these growing immortal veins?" The demon lord said, "The growing immortal veins can continuously absorb the qi of heaven and earth. This is the biggest effect. Of course, there is another effect. The spirit stones nurtured by these growing immortal veins are equivalent to half-immortal stones. Although they are not as pure as immortal stones, they are still extremely shocking. When breaking through to the Boundary Emperor realm and the Great Emperor realm, one will need to use high-grade energy. The energy contained in origin crystals can't satisfy one's needs, but the energy contained in these half-immortal stones can satisfy the body's needs," Lin Feng said in surprise. "I didn't expect these 9 immortal veins to have such an effect. Whether it's absorbing the qi of heaven and earth or helping one's cultivation breakthrough, they are all heaven-defying abilities. With these 9 immortal veins, it will save me a lot of trouble. This kind of growing immortal vein is extremely rare. Even great emperors or those who have surpassed great emperors would want to obtain this kind of immortal vein. This is because this kind of immortal vein can continuously devour fate and feed it back to its owner. At that time, you can absorb the fate from the immortal vein to strengthen yourself, and your fate will become stronger and stronger. The demon lord continued. Lin Feng nodded. The 9 immortal veins were definitely priceless treasures. Dugu Tian's luck was really strong. He even managed to collect something like the 9 immortal veins. One had to know that even Lin Feng didn't have such an immortal vein. However, no matter how strong Dugu Tian's luck was, his soul had already dissipated. As for Dugu Tian's treasures, they all belonged to Lin Feng. Other than the 9 immortal veins, Dugu Tian's storage ring also contained a mountain of supreme-grade origin crystals, all kinds of immortal iron, divine stones, spiritual items, dharma treasures, natural treasures, and so on. When these things were piled up together, it was like a mountain. Dugu Tian had collected too many treasures over the years. Lin Feng also found many dharma treasures in the storage ring. Dugu Tian's halberd was made of ancient bronze. Although it wasn't made of bronze, it was still an extremely rare type of bronze material. Moreover, that halberd had been passed down for a long time. It was very likely that it was a treasure from the Bronze Age. No wonder it was so powerful. Initially, Lin Feng wanted to find some top-level techniques in Dugu Tian's ring, but Dugu Tian's ring was too small. However, he couldn't find any divine arts inheritance after searching carefully. Ordinary cultivators would remember the divine arts inheritance. Very few people would imprint the divine arts inheritance on some jade tubes or scrolls. This was because if the storage ring was stolen, it was very easy to expose the inheritance to others. Naturally, no one wanted to expose the divine arts they had grasped to others. If it was exposed, wouldn't others know their trump cards? If his enemy were to find out about this, he would die without a burial place. Dugu Tian also didn't imprint the divine arts he had grasped. Thus, Lin Feng's idea of obtaining Dugu Tian's divine arts inheritance fell through. However, Lin Feng wasn't a greedy person. He had already obtained enough from Dugu Tian. Especially the 9 immortal meridians that could continuously absorb the fate of heaven and earth. It would definitely be of great use to Lin Feng's future cultivation. Lin Feng's spiritual will retreated from the storage ring. Following which, he kept the storage ring. The cursed doll was still cultivating. This fella should have obtained quite a lot of benefits. King Duping, King Peacock, and Taoist Fire Crow were all resting. At this moment, Lin Feng sensed an intense fluctuation coming from the ghost-raising jar. The second Ghost Emperor seemed to have completed its transformation. It had been some time since the second Ghost Emperor was born. It was the same as the first Ghost Emperor. The second Ghost Emperor also didn't submit to Lin Feng. During this period of time, the second Ghost Emperor had been cultivating in seclusion. Now, it was much stronger than before. Tisk TSK. Your cultivation has improved quite quickly. Lin Feng's voice sounded from the ghost-raising jar. The second Ghost Emperor's sinister voice sounded. Lin Feng, you can't subdue the two of us. Why don't we work together? How do we work together? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. Open the ghost-raising jar and let us out. We will impart a powerful divine art to you. From then on, we will go our separate ways and not interfere with each other. You go your way, and we will cross our single-plank bridge, the second Ghost Emperor said. Lin Feng couldn't help but sneer. If he let these two Ghost Emperors out, it would definitely cause a bloodbath. These two Ghost Emperors weren't kind people. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't let the two Ghost Emperors leave, so he kept them imprisoned. Now that the second Ghost Emperor wanted to break free from the ghost-raising jar and regain its freedom, how could Lin Feng agree? Lin Feng sneered. Previously, my cultivation wasn't high enough to kill the two of you. But now that my cultivation is rising steadily, I don't know how many times stronger I am than before. It just so happens that I can try to kill the two of you. Since you didn't choose to be loyal to me, then only death awaits you. After saying that, Lin Feng brought out the 4 heavenly flames. Who? 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 The 4 heavenly flames burned fiercely. The flames burned the void, causing the surrounding space to distort slightly. Under Lin Feng's control, the 4 heavenly flames flew into the ghost-raising jar and enveloped the 2 ghost emperors. Lin Feng wanted to borrow the power of the 4 heavenly flames to burn the 2 ghost emperors to death. Lin Feng said. "Yes, master. We will remember," the 2 ghost emperors said in unison. Lin Feng nodded and sent the 2 ghost emperors into the ghost-rearing jar. Not long after, the cursed doll woke up from its cultivation. "Ha ha ha ha, my cultivation has recovered by a lot. This is awesome," the cursed doll shouted excitedly. The next day, Lin Feng, Great Ping Emperor, Peacock King, Fire Crow Taoist, and the cursed doll continued their journey to search for the Chaos Gate. Fire Crow Taoist divined 9 times in a row. The group went to 9 places, but they still could not find the Chaos Gate. The Chaos Gate is very special. It will not be easy to find it, Fire Crow Taoist said with a frown. "Try divining again. See if there are any new clues," Great Ping Emperor said. Fire Crow Taoist nodded and began divining the location of the Chaos Gate for the 10th time. This time, the group set off in a new direction. They flew all the way. About 3 days later, the fog became thicker and thicker. There were many terrifying beings hidden in the fog. Some of the beings possessed terrifying strength. There were even great emperor-level existences. Lin Feng also saw other experts who had come to this area. They were also searching for the Chaos Gate. Only the top experts knew about the Chaos Gate. These cultivators who were searching for the Chaos Gate were basically great emperors. Wang. Chapter 2875. The fluctuations in the depths of the white fog were very intense. Everyone was shocked when they sensed the fluctuations. The fluctuations were too shocking. They could not help but wonder if the Chaos Gate had really appeared in the depths of the white fog world. "Let's go in and take a look." Everyone quickly flew into the depths to check if the Chaos Gate had really appeared. Some experts continued to fly into the depths of the white fog world. Those experts were basically cultivators from the myriad races, extraterrestrial races, or other external forces. However, Lin Feng saw a familiar figure flash past. It was a savage man. It was actually this person. He had a deep relationship with Lin Feng. Lin Feng learned about his lineage's ancestor, Lin Qi, from the savage man. He also learned that his lineage had been abandoned. Lin Feng had not seen the savage man for a long time. Now that he saw the savage man again, he could not help but feel a sense of familiarity. Lin Feng wanted to chase after the savage man and catch up with him. However, the savage man was very fast. He flashed past. In addition, the fog was very thick. By the time Lin Feng rushed over, the savage man had already disappeared. He came here too. Why did he come here? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. Although he had a deep relationship with the savage man, Lin Feng was not familiar with him. The savage man was filled with many secrets. Lin Feng also had many questions in his heart that he wanted to ask the savage man. However, the savage man did not have much interaction with Lin Feng. Perhaps it was because he felt that Lin Feng's cultivation was not enough and that he was not qualified to know many things, so the savage man did not tell Lin Feng many things. "Who is that person? His aura is extremely terrifying." The cursed doll's perception was very strong. He also saw the savage man and could not help but ask. "An elder who has a deep relationship with me," Lin Feng said. The cursed doll nodded and did not say anything else. "This person is very powerful. I didn't expect him to be related to you," the Great Rock King said. "I know very little about him. I've only had a simple conversation with him," Lin Feng said. "Are you saying that he is related to you? Is there a direct connection between you and your ancestors?" Peacock King asked. He felt that this matter was not simple. Lin Feng said, "Yes, in the past, He was on very good terms with one of my ancestors. That ancestor even saved him. Lin Feng didn't know much about what happened back then. There were many things that he could not say with certainty, but the relationship between the savages and his bloodline should be extremely deep. Lin Feng was certain of this. Could it be your protector? Taoist Flaming Crow asked. This? Lin Feng's expression became uncertain. Normally, only the core disciples of some top forces would have a Tao protector. For example, the son of the Sky Demon Emperor had a powerful Tao protector. Lin Feng had never thought that he would have a Tao protector. Now that Taoist Flaming Crow mentioned this matter, Lin Feng could not help but have some thoughts. The savages had a very deep relationship with his ancestors, and the savages had appeared by his side many times. The savages had even helped him resolve a life-and-death crisis. In many ways, the savages were like a Tao protector. However, Lin Feng did not dare to be certain if the savages were his Tao protector. Lin Feng said, "This senior's whereabouts are unpredictable. I don't know if he's my Tao protector." Taoist Flaming Crow nodded. Great Peking said, "It's good that he's a friend and not a foe." The group continued to travel deeper. 5 days later, they finally saw a huge stone door. The stone door was connected to the boundless void. Behind the stone door, there seemed to be another world that was completely different from this world. The material of the stone door was actually made from chaos stones. It emanated intense ripples that stretched between heaven and earth, as if it was eternally immortal. When he saw the stone door, Lin Feng was shocked. Such an extraordinary stone door had appeared in this place. Was this stone gate the legendary Chaos Gate? Whoosh! A cultivator flew over from afar. It was a great emperor from the extraterrestrial world. He walked towards the stone door step by step. "Open!" The great emperor came to the side of the stone door, wanting to push open the mysterious stone door that stretched between heaven and earth. The stone door was surrounded by dense runes. Now, those runes seemed to be awakening. Runes flew out one after another, suppressing the great emperor from the extraterrestrial world. Bam! The great emperor from the extraterrestrial world was sent flying. Barf! After receiving such a powerful blow, the great emperor from the extraterrestrial world could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper. So powerful? Lin Feng was shocked. The stone door was too extraordinary. Its power was shocking. The great emperor from the extraterrestrial world had a gloomy expression as he looked coldly at the stone door in the distance. He did not continue to approach it. That was because the stone door was simply too strange. It made his heart palpitate and uneasy. If he went any closer, he might be in trouble. A few other great emperors stepped out from the void one after another. Those great emperors also saw the mysterious stone door that was suspended in the void. At the same time, they also saw the scene of the stone door injuring the great emperor from the extraterrestrial world. At this moment, the stone door emitted a series of violent ripples. Behind the stone door, thousands of scenes appeared. A mysterious world appeared behind the stone door. That world was shrouded in immortal chi. That world was filled with mysterious colors. In that world, beautiful fairies danced one after another. Ancient immortals drank and chatted merrily. It was a world without worries. That was a world where immortals lived. Only immortals had the right to live there. It's really the Chaos Gate. Everyone was shocked. Now, they were almost certain that the ancient stone gate was the legendary Chaos Gate. That was because the Chaos Gate was related to immortals or sentient lifeforms. And now, the mysterious world that appeared behind the Chaos Gate explained too many things. That world was not as beautiful as it had been before. Not long after, that world became a ruined world. The beautiful fairy's chest was pierced, and she died miserably in that world. One by one, the heads of the immortals were chopped off. In the end, they died. The once beautiful world was now in shambles. No one knew what kind of great battle had taken place to destroy such a world. What in the world happened? Everyone frowned. That was because there was a long period of time missing in the middle. Therefore, They did not see what had happened in that world, nor did they know what had caused such a tragedy. A loud rumbling sound rang out, and the primal chaos gate shook violently. Everyone's spirits were lifted. The chaos gate seemed to be opening of its own accord. Chapter 2876. Lin Feng and the cursed doll decided to leave the world of white fog. If they continued, they would only bring trouble to the Great Pink King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist. It was better to leave as soon as possible. Therefore, Lin Feng and the cursed doll decided to leave together. After bidding farewell to the Great Pink King, the Peacock King, and the Fire Crow Taoist, they left. There are countless dangers behind the Chaos Gate. It's hard to tell if that place is a blessing or a danger, the cursed doll said. Lin Feng nodded. The cursed doll was right. The world behind the Chaos Gate was too dangerous. People could lose their lives at any time and any place. Moreover, not everyone could enter the world behind the Chaos Gate. It was hard to say if those great emperors could enter, and even harder to say if they could come out alive. Lin Feng and the cursed doll walked out. They left the region shrouded in white fog and arrived at the outside world. There were many opportunities in the Chaos Ancient Nation. There were opportunities waiting for them everywhere. There was no need to hang on to a tree like the Chaos Gate. I wonder where the Heavenly Demon King's son went. I really want to kill him and snatch his heavenly flame, Lin Feng couldn't help but say. Now was a great opportunity to kill the Heavenly Demon King's son. If the Heavenly Demon King's son continued to grow, he would become a big problem sooner or later. Now that he could kill the Heavenly Demon King's son, it would be best if he could get rid of this big problem. If the Heavenly Demon King's son's guardian is here, seeing the Heavenly Demon King's son is equivalent to suicide, the cursed doll said. The guardian of the Heavenly Demon King's son was indeed a problem. That old golden crow was definitely a great emperor. If he stayed by the Heavenly Demon King's son's side, it would be too difficult to kill the Heavenly Demon King's son. 3 days later, Lin Feng and the cursed doll heard a piece of news. Someone had discovered an ancient temple. Many people were heading towards that place. Lin Feng and the cursed doll quickly headed towards the temple. Not long after, they saw the temple. The temple was located in an ancient forest. This place was originally extremely dangerous and covered in restrictions, so few people came here. However, during this period of time, the restrictions gradually dissipated. Some cultivators came to explore this place and saw the group of temples in the forest. It's not a Buddhist temple, the cursed doll said. Lin Feng nodded. Temples were distributed among the group of temples. Those temples were very special. They were all made of stone. It's rare to see a temple like this. Only during the Stone Age would temples be built with stone, right? Lin Feng couldn't help but recall that ancient era. The Stone Age was an extremely important era in this era. The creatures of the Stone Age began to grasp the ways to make all kinds of props, such as daily necessities and even the most ancient magical equipment. This era was also the era where cultivation began to flourish. In this era, some powerful creatures created stone tools. This should be the earliest magic treasure. Stone tools were very difficult to make, but once they were made, their power would be extremely terrifying. There were even fewer stone tools that had been passed down to this day. Any stone tool that could be passed down until now, even if it was the simplest one, would definitely have unimaginable power. Perhaps these are the ruins of the Stone Age, the cursed doll said. Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. If that was the case, this group of temples might reveal to everyone what the living conditions of the Stone Age were like. The Stone Age was the first great era when the sentient lifeforms ruled the heavens. Billions of races began to gradually flourish. The creatures of that era had their own beliefs. The group of temples in front of them might be worshipping some ancient existences or some titled gods. Could there be something amazing left behind in such an ancient temple group? For example, some magical equipment or some inheritance? The restrictions that enveloped the group of temples still hadn't dissipated. More and more experts gathered from all over the place. The forces of the 9 continents lacked experts, so it was rare to see experts from the 9 continents. These experts were basically experts from the myriad races, or other foreign forces. Boom! A terrifying fluctuation came from the distance. Endless devil light surged as a man stepped out of the devil light. Gong Zongni, the son of the heavenly demon emperor, and Gong Ziyu's half-brother. This person's personality was gloomy and terrifying. He was one of the top young experts of the myriad races. Moreover, he had awakened his bloodline power many times. No one knew how strong he was. This was because no one had ever been able to make Gongzi Nye use his full strength. Not long after Gongzi Nye arrived, a peerlessly beautiful woman flew over. She was a female cultivator from the fallen angel race. It's her! Lin Feng was shocked. He had seen this female cultivator before. She controlled the Chaos Stone and had participated in the battle for the Chaos Ancient Bell. She was definitely a breathtaking woman. Whether it was her figure or her face, she could be called a peerless beauty in the world. Lin Feng felt that this fallen angel woman was very close to the Empress in terms of appearance. This was an extremely high evaluation. Lin Feng had seen too many peerless beauties, and the Empress was undoubtedly the number one beauty. The arrival of the fallen angel female cultivator caused quite a commotion. The reaction was much greater than that of Gongzi Nye's arrival. Gongzi Nye was powerful, but he was a man. Chapter 2877. Xing Yuan Dao. This person is one of the top geniuses of the Sacred God clan. His strength is incomparably terrifying. It is said that the Sacred God clan has treated him as a key nurturing target. Yes, Xing Yuan Dao's talent is outstanding even in the Sacred God clan where geniuses are as common as clouds. If he continues to grow, he will definitely become a great emperor. The arrival of the cultivators of the Sacred God clan caused quite a stir. This clan, which was ranked first among the 10,000 clans, was always the focus of countless forces. Cultivators who came from this force would also become figures that others would talk about and fawn over. The commotion caused by Xing Yuan Dao's arrival was no less than the commotion caused by the arrival of the female cultivator from the fallen angel clan. Many people came forward to greet Xing Yuan Dao. However, Xing Yuan Dao's expression was indifferent, and he did not even lift his eyelids. He completely ignored the cultivators who came forward to greet him. However, even with such a bad attitude, the rest of the people still had a smile on their faces. It was as if they were not angry at all. They are all a bunch of wretches. Xing Yuan now looks down on them and they still have the cheek to greet him. They have completely disgraced their ancestors. The cursed doll curled its lips and said with disdain. Lin Feng said, Xing Yuan now comes from the Sacred God clan and is a big shot. It is enough to show their faces in front of Xing Yuan Dao. Who knows, maybe Xing Yuan Dao will remember them. Xing Yuan Dao had an extremely bright future. Therefore, it was extremely important to be remembered by Xing Yuan Dao. In the afternoon of the second day, violent fluctuations surged from the temple group. The restriction that enveloped the temple group was gradually dissipating. Everyone's spirit suddenly shook. The restriction was about to dissipate, and the temple group was about to appear in front of everyone. How many secrets were hidden in such a huge temple group? Treasures? Or even inheritances? 6 hours later, the restriction that enveloped the temple group finally dissipated completely. One cultivator after another charged up into the sky to quickly make their way into the temple complex. It did not take long for them to enter the temple complex. The temple group covered a radius of nearly 100 miles. It was extremely huge. It was Lin Feng's first time seeing such a huge temple group. With such a huge scale, the lord that was worshipped was definitely an extraordinary figure. Lin Feng and the cursed doll entered the temple group. The temples here were extremely huge and the ordinary temples were nearly 100 meters tall. Some of the huge temples were as tall as 1,000 meters. These temples were all made of stone. Not all the temples were well preserved. Many of the temples were already in ruins. Some temples had even collapsed. Not long after, a great battle broke out in a temple. Someone found a stone artifact inside, and that stone artifact was not damaged. In order to fight for the stone tools, many cultivators rushed into the temple and started killing each other. The myriad races, the extraterritorial races, and the cultivators of other foreign forces were originally in an alliance. But now, they no longer cared whether they were in an alliance or not. At this moment, these cultivators only had eyes for the stone tools. A large number of cultivators were killed and blood flowed out from the temples. Lin Feng and the cursed doll did not participate in this battle. They chose a temple. The temple was 500 meters tall and covered an area of more than 10 acres. It was a medium-sized temple. Lin Feng and the cursed doll entered the temple. So many corpses. After entering the temple, Lin Feng and the cursed doll were shocked. The huge temple was filled with corpses. Below these corpses were praying mats with their palms pressed together. They seemed to be praying devoutly when they were alive, but they did not know what happened, and these people suddenly died. The cursed doll flew to a corpse and touched it lightly. The corpse instantly turned into ashes. "They've long decayed. A light touch and they'll be destroyed," the cursed doll said. Lin Feng said, "If this is really a temple from the Stone Age, who knows how many millions of years have passed since then? It's normal for these corpses to decay." The two of them passed through the layers of corpses and arrived in front of the shrine. There were 3 statues on the shrine. The statue on the left was a statue of a devil. The statue on the right had an eyeball embedded in it. It was a blood-red eyeball. Of course, this eyeball was not a real eyeball. It was an eyeball made of stone. The statue in the middle was a statue with a human body and a crocodile head. "The devil race is very scary. This race has been eternally exiled to an unknown space-time and world. This temple actually worships devils. It seems like this temple is not simple. Only evil spirits would worship devils," the cursed doll said as he pointed at the statue on the left. Then, he pointed at the blood-red eyeball on the right. "An eyeball can actually become a statue of a god. This is really strange. I've never encountered such a thing before. Look at the statue in the middle. It has a human body and a crocodile head. What kind of monster is this? Could it be a crocodile spirit?" Lin Feng could not help but frown. The cursed doll said, "A group of temples of this scale, and a group of temples from the Stone Age, can consecrate too many experts. Now that the main shrine is consecrating a crocodile monster, it is indeed unexpected. I have never heard of such a powerful crocodile monster in history." The cursed doll's origin was ancient and mysterious. He knew a lot of things and had a basic understanding of many experts in history. Now that the cursed doll was so puzzled, it was clear that the identity of this crocodile monster was very puzzling. Lin Feng said, "Could it be a creature from a foreign world?" The cursed doll was slightly shocked and said, "That's really possible. Moreover, this demon and this eyeball are extremely strange. If it's a creature from a foreign world, then it's very easy to explain. Creatures from a foreign world came to this part of the universe during the Stone Age?" Lin Feng frowned. Creatures from a foreign world were too terrifying and evil. Lin Feng had originally thought that they came to this part of the universe at the end of the Xiantian realm's control over the myriad worlds. But now it seemed that things were not as simple as he had imagined. Lin Feng jumped onto the shrine and punched the demon statue. He wanted to see if there was anything hidden in the statue. Bang! The demon statue shattered. But there was nothing. Next, he punched the statue with a human body and a crocodile head. Bang! This statue also shattered, and there was nothing inside. Finally, Lin Feng plucked the blood-red eyeball from the statue. It was an object made of a special kind of stone. Chapter 2878. This blood-red eyeball was so strange that it could actively emit such a shocking energy fluctuation. This was something that Lin Feng did not expect at all. Lin Feng quickly used the 8 divine seals in an attempt to seal this blood-red eyeball. However, he failed. This blood-red eyeball could not be sealed at all. Buzz! The blood-red eyeball suddenly shook. Then, It struggled to break free from Lin Feng's right hand. Lin Feng frowned. The blood-red eyeball was really strange. Now, he did not dare to get too close to it in case something unpredictable and dangerous happened. Lin Feng retreated about 20 meters. He and the cursed doll looked at the blood-red eyeball with a serious expression. "This eyeball has produced a kind of evil energy," the cursed doll could not help but say. It was very sensitive to all kinds of energy. Now that it mentioned a kind of energy that was emitted from the blood-red eyeball, its expression could not help but become a little serious. This was because it felt that this blood-red eyeball was about to undergo some unknown changes. Boom! A terrifying aura surged out from the blood-red eyeball. Then, the blood-red eyeball shot out 2 terrifying beams of light. These 2 beams of light swept toward Lin Feng and the cursed doll respectively. The blood-red eyeball seemed to have its own spiritual consciousness. It seemed to want to destroy Lin Feng and the cursed doll. The attack contained in the 2 beams of light was unusually powerful and terrifying. Lin Feng and the cursed doll quickly dodged the attack of the 2 beams of light. However, they realized that no matter how they dodged, they could not avoid the attack of the 2 beams of light. The 2 beams of light had completely locked onto the 2 of them. They could not avoid it. In the face of the terrifying attack of the 2 beams of light, Lin Feng and the cursed doll condensed their divine abilities. They wanted to use their divine abilities to neutralize the attack of the 2 beams of light. What surprised them was that their divine abilities were also torn apart by the 2 beams of light. The 2 beams of light continued to slash toward the 2 of them. They would not stop until they killed the 2 of them. "This eyeball's attack power is so strong. Quickly take out the heavenly mystery pagoda!" the cursed doll shouted. Lin Feng did not dare to hesitate, and quickly took out the heavenly profound pagoda. 1. The heavenly profound pagoda vibrated and emitted waves of terrifying energy. The defensive monarch weapon unleashed beams of light that protected Lin Feng and the cursed doll. When the 2 beams of light came again, they both landed on the defensive light shield formed by the heavenly profound pagoda. The heavenly profound pagoda was indeed worthy of being called an imperial armament defensive treasure. Its defensive power was truly extraordinary. Lin Feng took advantage of this opportunity to rush forward and arrived in front of the blood-red eyeball with the cursed doll. Then, Lin Feng threw a punch at the blood-red eyeball. Bang! The powerful punch landed directly on the blood-red eyeball. The blood-red eyeball was sent flying by Lin Feng's tyrannical punch. However, to everyone's surprise, Lin Feng's powerful punch did not manage to shatter the blood-red eyeball. The blood-red eyeball was made of stone, but it actually had such a strong defensive power. It was really inconceivable. However, after taking Lin Feng's powerful punch, the blood-red eyeball's luster dimmed significantly. Lin Feng quickly used the 8 god sealing seals. Runes flew out and imprinted themselves on the blood-red eyeball. Lin Feng used the 8 god sealing seals to seal the blood-red eyeball. After sealing the blood-red eyeball, Lin Feng put away the heavenly mystery pagoda. Then, he held the blood-red eyeball in his hand and played with it. From the outside, one could not see anything strange about it. The cursed doll said, "Perhaps the secret is hidden inside. Think of a way to break it and see if there's anything sealed inside." Lin Feng nodded and took out the stone sword. He planned to use the stone sword to cut open the blood-red eyeball. Lin Feng placed the blood-red eyeball on the ground and gripped the stone sword tightly with both hands. Then, he slashed down fiercely. Clang! The tyrannical slash landed on the blood-red eyeball. Suddenly, a clanging sound was heard. It was unknown what material the blood-red eyeball was made of. It was so tough that it could even block the stone sword's attack. It was truly extraordinary. However, Lin Feng observed it carefully and found that the blood-red eyeball was not completely unscathed. There was a crack on the blood-red eyeball. Lin Feng guessed that the crack was caused by the stone sword. After seeing the crack, Lin Feng's spirit was lifted. He gripped the stone sword tightly. Sword after sword slashed at the blood-red eyeball. Clang! 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 36 consecutive slashes. The blood-red eyeball finally couldn't take it anymore. Crack! Crack! Lin Feng's blood-red eyes were filled with cracks. Lin Feng's eyes suddenly twinkled. He waved the stone sword in his hand and slashed out another fierce attack. This attack fiercely slashed at the blood-red eyeball that had already cracked open. Suddenly, the blood-red eyeball couldn't take it anymore and cracked. After the blood-red eyeball cracked open, a glaring blood-red light surged out. A blood-red eyeball flew out from the cracked blood-red eyeball. This wasn't a blood-red eyeball made of stone. It was a real blood-red eyeball. It was unknown what kind of creature's eye it was. Now, this blood-red eyeball was floating in the air, emitting an incomparably demonic aura. And this blood-red eyeball could actually blink. It blinked a little. The void was slightly distorted. Oh my God! What kind of creature's eye is this? It was sealed in the blood-red eyeball made of stone for such a long time, and it hasn't been damaged. This is too shocking! Lin Feng couldn't help but exclaim. He naturally knew that he had probably seen a heaven-defying treasure. Such a treasure was too shocking. It's the Eye of Death. This is the legendary Eye of Death. Hurry up and suppress this eyeball. Don't let it escape. The cursed doll recognized the origin of the eyeball and couldn't help but yell loudly. The Eye of Death. Just by hearing the name, one could tell that it was definitely an extremely amazing treasure. Lin Feng quickly rushed towards the Eye of Death, wanting to suppress it. But at this moment, flames poured into the temple from outside. The legendary Eye of Death has appeared. What a surprise! This Eye of Death is mine. You can get lost now. Along with this voice, it resounded in the temple. A golden crow claw condensed in the void and slapped towards Lin Feng. It wanted to slap Lin Feng away. Chapter 2879. Lin Feng furrowed his brows. Someone actually dared to attack him. How reckless! Facing the attack of the golden crow's claw, Lin Feng punched out. A muffled sound of collision was heard as the tyrannical punch landed directly on the golden crow's claw. Then, the golden crow's claw was shattered. Who is it? How dare you sneak attack me? Are you tired of living? Hurry up and come out! Lin Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his expression indifferent. As he spoke, he attacked the Eye of Death at the same time. He sealed the Eye of Death and put it away. What was so powerful about the Eye of Death? Once he was done with this matter, he could ask the cursed doll about it. At this time, a man in a golden robe stepped into the temple. This man looked to be in his 30s. He was quite handsome, but his eyes were very long and narrow. They flickered with a cold and eerie light. Other than this man, there were dozens of other cultivators. Most of them had been attracted by the fluctuations emitted by the Eye of Death. This man in golden robes was probably attracted by the Eye of Death as well. Other cultivators might have been wary and did not make a move, but this man in golden robes was obviously very confident in himself. Therefore, he wanted to snatch the Eye of Death, but he underestimated Lin Feng's strength. Jin Xianzhao! It's actually him! I've seen him 3,000 years ago! A myriad races cultivator looked at the man in golden robes in shock. He's the monstrous genius of the Qinhua people from 3,000 years ago, Jin Xianzhao? Many myriad races cultivators were shocked. Clearly, they had heard of Jin Xuanzhao's deeds. The Qinhua people had many branches. For example, there were branches of the Qinhua people in the 9 prefectures of the Tianwu continent. Other than the 9 prefectures' great world, it was said that there were branches of the Qinhua people on many vital planets and great worlds in the outer realms. There were also many powerful branches of the Qinhua people. One of the most powerful branches of the Qinhua people was the Qinhua people branch of the Heavenly Sage Great World. It was said that the royal blood of the Qinhua people flowed through their veins. Qinhua people were the descendants of Demon Emperor Dijun. Back then, Demon Emperor Dijun and Demon Emperor Tai had established the Heavenly Court in the Heaven Realm. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the Demon Emperor Dijun was. As the descendants of the Demon Emperor Dijun, the Kinwu people were naturally an extremely powerful race. The demon sovereign Di Jun had 10 sons. The direct bloodline of these 10 sons was the so-called royal bloodline. Generation after generation, there would only be one bloodline of the royal bloodline. The rest of the bloodlines would gradually decline. It was like a dynasty that was passed down from generation to generation. Only the heirs of the emperor were the main bloodline. The rest would become offshoots. The Kinwu people of the heavenly sage great world belonged to the royal bloodline. From this, one could see how powerful the Kinwu people of the great world were. And Jin Xianzhao had the royal bloodline flowing through his veins. This person was extremely powerful and arrogant because he had the strength to back it up. Do you know that anyone who speaks to me in such a tone is already a dead man? Jin Xianzhao looked coldly at Lin Feng. He did not take this young human cultivator seriously at all. The human race was weak. So what if they had some young elites? Could it be that he could be mentioned in the same breath as him? 3,000 years ago, he was already a monstrous genius. 3,000 years had passed, and he was now beginning to reach the emperor realm. This was where Jin Xuanzhao's confidence came from. Therefore, in Jin Xuanzhao's opinion, Lin Feng was not even qualified to be his opponent. Jin Xianzhao was extremely arrogant. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said in a cold voice, "Kneel down and repent. If I'm satisfied, I'll spare your worthless life today. If I'm not satisfied, this temple will be your burial ground." Jin Xianzhao looked disdainfully at Lin Feng. It was as if he had everything under his control. His expression was extremely arrogant. Of course, Jin Xianzhao was indeed very powerful. Those who knew his identity did not think that he was arrogant. Instead, many people thought that he was extremely domineering. Someone as powerful as Jin Xianzhao. That was how domineering he should be. Do you really think you're some big shot? You're just a three-clawed crow. How dare you make such a big fuss here? I've eaten many ferocious beasts, but I've never eaten a three-clawed crow. Do you believe that I'll chop you up today, skewer you on a wooden stick, and roast you for dinner tonight? Lin Feng said indifferently. His tone was casual, as if he was talking about something ordinary. Jin Xianzhao was extremely arrogant. Lin Feng was even more arrogant than Jin Xianzhao. Everyone could hear the disdain in Lin Feng's tone towards Jin Xianzhao. Everyone was stunned when they heard Lin Feng's words. Who is this kid? How can he be so arrogant? Does he not want to live anymore? He seems to be a human cultivator. Could he be a genius from a human faction in the outer realms? No matter who he is, he's definitely going to die today. Many people started discussing. These cultivators did not associate the young man with the famous Lin Feng. This was because during this period of time, some human factions in the outer realms had also sent many experts here. Of course, they couldn't think of Lin Feng because of a young human cultivator. The human race was weak. However, the human race was not so weak that they only had one young expert, Lin Feng. In fact, the human race still had many experts. However, their numbers were much fewer compared to the cultivators from the other races, outer realms, and other external factions. Since you want to die, I can fulfill your wish. Jin Xuanzhao's voice turned cold. His eyes flickered with dense killing intent. Lin Feng's words completely enraged Jin Xianzhao, causing his killing intent to soar. Boom! Jin Xuanzhao's body exuded an extremely terrifying aura. He opened his palm and slammed it towards Lin Feng. Jin Xianzhao was indeed a heaven-defying genius from 3,000 years ago. His strength was indeed terrifying. Lin Feng guessed that this person's cultivation level was most likely at the peak of the Boundary Emperor realm. Jin Xianzhao was a heaven-defying prodigy with such a high cultivation level. It was not hard to imagine just how powerful he was now. Lin Feng could challenge those of a higher cultivation level and even defeat boundary emperors who had reached the 95th step. However, the boundary emperors he defeated were all ordinary boundary emperors. They were not boundary emperors who had reached the boundary emperor realm. If Lin Feng fought against geniuses who had broken through to the Diqi layer, He would be lucky if he could defeat a D-Chi layer cultivator who had broken through to the D-Chi layer. Chapter 2880. In the face of Jin Xuanzhao's attack, Lin Feng immediately took out his heavenly pagoda. With the protection of the heavenly pagoda, Jin Xuanzhao's attack landed on the protective light barrier around Lin Feng's body. Suddenly, a muffled sound of collision was heard. Lin Feng, who took the attack, did not suffer any damage. The defense of the heavenly pagoda was too strong. Even a great emperor would not be able to break through the defense of the heavenly pagoda in a short period of time. Not to mention Jin Xianzhao. Jin Xianzhao was very strong. However, it was impossible for him to break through Lin Feng's heavenly pagoda. "It's my turn!" Lin Feng sneered. He immediately activated the arms of dragon and elephant and attacked Jin Xianzhao. Jin Xianzhao was too close to Lin Feng. It was very difficult for him to dodge Lin Feng's attack. He could only use his fist to block Lin Feng's attack. Bang! With a dull sound of collision, Lin Feng and Jin Xianzhao collided violently. Lin Feng did not move at all, but Lin Feng's punch sent Jin Xianzhao flying. Barf! Jin Xianzhao spat out a mouthful of blood. Lin Feng's body was invincible. Jin Xuanzhao's body was no match for Lin Feng's. This. Seeing Jin Xianzhao spit out blood from Lin Feng's punch, the surrounding cultivators were all dumbfounded. They could not believe their eyes. Jin Xianzhao was so strong. Yet, he was beaten to the point of spitting out blood. This was too unbelievable. Lin Feng quickly rushed towards Jin Xianzhao, wanting to defeat him in one fell swoop. After fighting Lin Feng once, Jin Xianzhao knew that Lin Feng's body was extremely strong. Therefore, when he saw Lin Feng rushing towards him, Jin Xianzhao immediately took out a jade talisman. Boom! The jade talisman exploded on the spot, and a terrifying energy surged out. The energy from the jade talisman's explosion struck Lin Feng's body and sent Lin Feng flying. Lin Feng had the protection of the heavenly pagoda, so he was not injured. However, Lin Feng also lost the opportunity to continue suppressing Jin Xianzhao with his body. TSK, is this all you've got? I thought you were strong. In the end, you're still spitting blood from my punch? Said Lin Feng mockingly. He looked at Jin Xianzhao mockingly. Brat, if you weren't wearing a tortoise shell, do you think you'd be a match for me? I can kill you in 10 moves. Jin Xianzhao looked at Lin Feng's eyes in indifference. How laughable! Magic treasures are a part of a cultivator's strength. This world doesn't care about the process, only the result. Everything is nothing. Everything is nothing. Nothing! Lin Feng sneered and took the initiative to attack Jin Xianzhao. As a cultivator from the Qinhua people of the Heavenly Sage Great World, Jin Xianzhao was a follower of the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son. Lin Feng had heard that the old golden crow by the Heavenly Demon Emperor's son's side was from the Qinhua people of the Heavenly Sage Great World. Therefore, Lin Feng did not need to be courteous to Jin Xianzhao. Since this person wanted to die, Lin Feng would fulfill his wish. Brat, do you think you can defeat me with a tortoise shell? I'll break your tortoise shell first, then kill you. Jin Xianzhao sneered. Then, he unleashed a powerful divine ability. An ancient illusionary figure appeared behind him. It was the figure of a huge golden crow. When the golden crow appeared, an ancient and boundless aura surged out from the golden crow's body. Could that be the figure of the golden crow ancestor? Some cultivators could not help but exclaim. The golden crow ancestor referred to the 10 sons of the Shifter Emperor, Di Jun. However, it was rumored that the 10 sons could transform into suns. Therefore, they transformed into 10 suns that roasted the earth. They caused great suffering to the people. Hou-Yi of the witch race sympathized with the longevity of the world, so he created the famous sun-shooting divine art, later known as Hou-Yi's bow, and the sun-shooting divine arrow. He killed 9 golden crows in a row. The one that was shot to death by Hou-Yi at that time was the so-called Golden Crow ancestor. He was also the first golden crow. That's right. I've summoned the Golden Crow Ancestor. Jin Xianzhao, who had summoned the Golden Crow Ancestor, became extremely arrogant. His expression was indifferent. He sneered and said, "Even an Emperor-level defensive treasure can't block the Golden Crow Ancestor's attack." Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, the Golden Crow Ancestor's figure attacked Lin Feng. Screech! An ear-piercing cry rang out. The Golden Crow Ancestor let out a series of sharp cries. It spread its huge wings and quickly charged towards Lin Feng. The Golden Crow Ancestor's sharp claws clawed at Lin Feng. Clang, 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 the sharp claws clawed at Lin Feng's defensive light barrier again and again. The attack of the Golden Crow Ancestor's figure was so powerful that after dozens of attacks, Lin Feng's defensive light barrier began to crack. What a powerful attack! Lin Feng's expression darkened. The Golden Crow Ancestor's attack was too powerful. Lin Feng tried to counterattack, but his attacks were all destroyed by the Golden Crow Ancestor. As expected of a heaven-defying monster from 3,000 years ago. It was truly terrifying to have cultivated to this point. However, Lin Feng was not without a way to deal with it. He began to use the Great Curse Art, and tried again and again to injure Jin Xianzhao with it. However, he had failed every time he tried to use it. Crack! Crack! After withstanding over 300 attacks from the Golden Crow Ancestor, the Heavenly Mystery Pagoda finally began to crack. Ha ha ha! Let's see how you'll die when this tortoise-shell defensive light barrier is destroyed! Jin Xianzhao let out a series of eerie laughter. Ah! However, in the next moment, Jin Xianzhao screamed in agony as a bloody hole appeared on his chest. Lin Feng's Great Curse Art was finally successful and managed to injure Jin Xianzhao. The highest level of the Great Curse Art was to injure the soul. If it attacked Lin Feng directly, it could even destroy the soul of the opponent. However, Lin Feng could not do that. He could only injure the opponent's physical body. Jin Xuanzhao's body was severely injured and his magic power was scattered. The Golden Crow Ancestor's power was greatly reduced. Lin Feng activated his five-fold dragon elephant arm and destroyed the Golden Crow Ancestor. Then, he quickly charged towards Jin Xianzhao. The Mystic Tortoise Tablet suppressed the world. Lin Feng's voice was cold as he condensed the Mystic Tortoise Tablet. A huge river swept across heaven and earth as the Mystic Tortoise Tablet came. Bam! The Mystic Tortoise Tablet suppressed Jin Xuanzhao's body and sent him flying. Barf! Jin Xianzhao spat out a mouthful of blood and his face was as pale as a sheet. You dare to brag in front of me with such a weak cultivation? You're overestimating yourself. I still have many powerful attacks that I haven't used yet. Lin Feng was arrogant and domineering as he charged forward and struck out with his five-fold dragon elephant arm. Jin Xianzhao blocked with his arms in front of him. Bam! The powerful punch landed on Jin Xuanzhao's arms. Cracking sounds could be heard as Jin Xuanzhao's arms broke. Chapter 2881. Both of Jin Xuanzhao's arms were broken by Lin Feng. His combat strength continued to plummet. The Great Curse Art! You even know the Great Curse Art! Jin Xianzhao was very knowledgeable. He could not help but roar in anger. He was very powerful and had abundant magic power. He had never been defeated before. However, he was now defeated by Lin Feng. Jin Xianzhao was so furious that he almost went mad. However, Jin Xianzhao knew that he was going to lose. Lin Feng had an Emperor-level defensive magic treasure on him. That was the main reason why the battle turned around. Jin Xianzhao believed that if it were not for that Emperor-level defensive magic treasure, Lin Feng would not be a match for him even if he used all his skills. However, with the help of that defensive magic treasure, Lin Feng won so easily. That magic treasure had already made Lin Feng undefeatable. Jin Xianzhao was even regretting that he had chosen to fight Lin Feng. However, it was too late for regrets. There was no medicine for regret in this world. Jin Xianzhao quickly fled outside. How could he still have the courage to fight? His body had suffered such injuries. If he continued to fight, the best result would probably be mutual destruction. What worried Jin Xianzhao the most was that Lin Feng still had a companion who had yet to make a move. Lin Feng's companion was naturally the cursed doll. The cursed doll looked at the battle between Lin Feng and Jin Xianzhao with great interest, as if it was watching a show. Lin Feng also wanted to test his combined combat strength when combined with the Heavenly Mystery Pagoda. The cursed doll seemed to know what Lin Feng was thinking. That was why it did not attack Jin Xianzhao. Do you think you can escape? Lin Feng looked at Jin Xianzhao indifferently. It would not be easy for Jin Xianzhao to escape now. Lin Feng quickly gave chase. As a cultivator of the Qinwu people, Jin Xuanzhao's speed was extremely fast. However, Jin Xianzhao was injured. Speed was also one of Lin Feng's specialties, so Jin Xianzhao was unable to shake off Lin Feng's pursuit. Lin Feng quickly caught up with Jin Xianzhao and threw a punch at him. I'll fight you to the death! Jin Xianzhao roared furiously. The flames on the surface of his body burned fiercely. Jin Xianzhao began to burn his blood essence to increase his combat strength. Screech! Suddenly, an ear-piercing cry rang out. Everyone saw that a huge golden crow phantom had appeared behind Lin Feng. The phantom of the golden crow ancestor. Oh my god, what am I seeing? How does that brat know Jin Xuanzhao's ultimate technique? One cultivator after another cried out in disbelief. They simply could not believe their eyes. Lin Feng was actually displaying Jin Xuanzhao's previous consummate technique. This supreme art was a supreme divine ability passed down by the Qinwu people. Just now, it had almost broken through the defense of the Heavenly Mystery Treasure Pagoda. From this, one could tell how powerful this supreme art was. Such a supreme art was definitely a secret of the Qinwu people. Even among the Qinwu people, there were probably very few cultivators who knew this supreme art. However, Lin Feng was now displaying this supreme art. It was simply too unbelievable. It was no wonder that the surrounding cultivators were so shocked. Even the cursed doll was shocked. It did not expect Lin Feng to display Jin Xuanzhao's attack at a time like this. This is impossible! Jin Xianzhao could not believe what he was seeing. Lin Feng was actually displaying his ultimate technique. Lin Feng was only a human. How could a human cultivator display the Qinwu people's ultimate technique? Nothing is impossible! Lin Feng sneered. The golden crow phantom had already arrived in front of Jin Xianzhao. This divine ability was derived from Lin Feng's 72 transformations. The 72 transformations was very special. It could copy other people's divine abilities. Earlier, Lin Feng had been using the 72 transformations to derive Jin Xuanzhao's divine ability. Now that Lin Feng was displaying this divine ability, it was indeed a shockingly powerful divine ability. Break! Jin Xianzhao roared and unleashed the Golden Crow's sacred fist at the Golden Crow phantom. A powerful divine ability like this required time to be used. It was very difficult for Jin Xianzhao to quickly activate this divine ability to summon the Golden Crow phantom to deal with Lin Feng's divine ability. Of course, Jin Xuanzhao's Golden Crow Holy Fist was also extremely powerful, but it was still slightly weaker than the Golden Crow ancestor's shadow. The Golden Crow phantom was simply too powerful. Its power was so strong that it was shocking. The silhouette of the Golden Crow ancestor directly shattered Jin Xuanzhao's Golden Crow Holy Fist and sent him flying. Then, the Golden Crow phantom extended its sharp claws and clawed at Jin Xuanzhao's head. No! Jin Xianzhao screamed in fear. He wanted to dodge the Golden Crow phantom's attack, but it was too late. He could only watch as the Golden Crow phantom clawed at his head. At this moment, Jin Xianzhao felt a thick aura of death envelop his entire body. Jin Xianzhao had never felt something like this before. Now, this feeling made his heart tremble. This caused him to feel endless fear in his heart. However, there was nothing he could do. Little bastard, I believe that you will soon follow in my footsteps. The Qinwu people have countless experts. They will definitely avenge me. Jin Xianzhao cursed viciously. Puff! As soon as Jin Xianzhao finished speaking, his head was crushed by the golden crow phantom's claw. Everyone looked at this scene in shock. Jin Xianzhao had actually died under the attack of his most powerful divine ability. At this point, no one understood why Lin Feng knew the Qinhua people's top-tier divine ability. Don't worry. If the Qinhua people really come looking for me, I will send them down to accompany you. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He put away Jin Xuanzhao's storage ring and walked out of the temple with the cursed doll. The cultivators from the various races, alien races, and other factions all made way for Lin Feng. After the two left the temple, the cursed doll said, "Was the divine ability you used just now the legendary 72 transformations?" Lin Feng raised his eyebrows and said, "You've heard of the 72 transformations as well?" The cursed doll said, "Of course. Rumor has it that it's a supreme divine ability created by the great sage, Heaven's equal. I didn't expect it to be so terrifying." Lin Feng said, "A divine ability created by the great sage, Heaven's equal is naturally terrifying." The two continued flying toward the depths of the temple complex. The temple complex was simply too huge. There would be a new temple every once in a while. Of course, many of the temples were already in ruins and had lost their value to explore. After a short time, Lin Feng saw the angel who had fallen to the ground. Chapter 2882. The fallen angel also saw Lin Feng. Her black wings flapped slightly as she hovered in midair. She looked at Lin Feng with an indifferent expression. "You have the primal chaos ancient bell?" Her voice was cold and filled with killing intent. She wanted to attack Lin Feng, but when she saw the cursed doll beside him, she frowned. She was alone. She was not confident that she could defeat Lin Feng and the cursed doll if they worked together. Hence, she chose not to attack. Lin Feng smiled and said, "So what if it's on me? So what if it's not on me? Do you want the primal chaos ancient bell? Actually, if you want it, you can tell me. I've always been an easygoing person. We can talk about anything. Even if you want the primal chaos ancient bell, we can talk about it." The female cultivator from the fallen angel clan looked at Lin Feng suspiciously. He could even talk about a supreme treasure like the primal chaos ancient bell? She found it hard to believe. Lin Feng said, "Don't doubt my words. I'm an honest person. I won't lie. If you want the primal chaos ancient bell, we can talk about it. What do you want in exchange for the primal chaos ancient bell?" the fallen angel asked. Hee. Lin Feng revealed a mischievous smile and said, "Look, it won't be long before the sky turns dark. The night is long, and I can't sleep. Why don't we talk about life?" "Shameless!" The female cultivator from the fallen angel clan looked at Lin Feng icily and cursed in a low voice. Lin Feng said, "I'm innocent. I'm only talking about life with you, yet you call me shameless. You're just overthinking things, aren't you? You have evil thoughts, yet you want to slander someone as pure and kind as me. How can you bear to do that?" "Humph," said the female cultivator from the fallen angel clan coldly. She ignored Lin Feng and flew away. "Just take her down. Then you can train her however you want," the cursed doll said. Lin Feng said, "It's not that easy. That woman is very scary. Her aura is terrifying. Moreover, I can feel a powerful force hibernating in her body." The cursed doll's expression turned serious. He nodded and said, "That's right. I can also feel the terrifying force hibernating in her body. It's very strange. Even I can't tell what kind of force it is." The two of them continued forward. Not long after, they found a temple that was still in good condition. The temple was still unopened. Lin Feng and the cursed doll opened the door of the temple and entered it. There were also many corpses in this temple, and the way they died was the same as in the previous temple. They seemed to have died suddenly in the middle of prayer. There were 3 stone statues enshrined in the temple. The main shrine is worshipping the same thing, but the 2 shrines are worshipping different things. Could it be that this huge group of temples was built for this alligator-headed creature? Lin Feng couldn't help but think of a possibility. The cursed doll said, "That's possible. Let's go to the other temples." Lin Feng nodded. He left the temple with the cursed doll and flew toward the other temples. Many of the temples had been opened. They entered some of the temples that had been opened by cultivators. Lin Feng found that the other temples were the same as the ones they had seen before. Inside those temples, the main shrine worshipped the creature with a human body and a crocodile head. The shrines on both sides had all sorts of creatures enshrined in them, and they were all different. Now, Lin Feng was sure that the gigantic temple had been built for the crocodile head and the human body. The scale of this temple complex is so huge. I wonder who built it. Lin Feng could not help but frown. The cursed doll said, "This place definitely hides a secret that no one knows." Lin Feng couldn't agree more with that. This place hid a big secret, but Lin Feng could not guess what it was. An hour later they arrived in front of the main temple. This temple was different from the others. Outside the temple, there was an extremely large courtyard. The temple was in the shape of a tower. It was more than 2,000 meters tall. This was the biggest temple Lin Feng had seen so far. This temple was actually shrouded in a powerful restriction that sealed the temple. Many cultivators gathered around, but no one went forward to break the restriction. Lin Feng asked a human cultivator around why no one went forward to break the restriction. The human cultivator told Lin Feng that the restriction here was extremely terrifying. The dozen or so experts who went forward to break the restriction were all killed. Their bodies were shattered, and they died on the spot. Therefore, the others did not dare to go forward to break the restriction. However, it was said that the cultivators of the myriad races went to find an expert from the Geomaster lineage to break the restriction. The Geomaster lineage of the 9 provinces was very powerful. It was also very mysterious. They had extremely terrifying methods. The myriad races, the races from outside the realm, and other cultivators from outside the realm descended on the 9 provinces and destroyed many forces in the 9 provinces. However, they did not attack the Geomaster lineage. Not only did they not attack the Geomaster lineage, but they were also on good terms with the Geomaster lineage. This was because the 3 forces could use the Geomaster lineage most of the time. Now, the Geomaster lineage was in the limelight in the 9 provinces. Of course, Lin Feng did not have a good impression of the Geomaster lineage. The Geomaster lineage was jealous of the powerful inheritance of the Heavenly Master lineage. They killed several ancestors of the Heavenly Master lineage and stole the inheritance of the Heavenly Master lineage. Back in the Tianwu continent. On the Tianwu continent, the branch of the Geomaster lineage wanted to kill Lin Feng many times to steal the inheritance of the Heavenly Master lineage from Lin Feng. However, they failed every time. After coming to the 9 provinces, Lin Feng did not have much interaction with the Geomaster lineage. However, Lin Feng would not forget the blood feud of the Heavenly Master lineage's ancestors. Lin Feng believed that if the cultivators of the Geomaster lineage saw him, they would not let him go. This was a grudge that had been passed down from their ancestors. Even if countless years had passed, this grudge would not be resolved. Not long after, an expert from the Geomaster lineage arrived. This expert from the Geomaster lineage was called Guan Yuanzi. He wore a Taoist robe and seemed to be a Taoist. This Guan Yuanzi looked like an immortal. It was obvious that he was very capable. "Fellow Taoist Guan Yuanzi, please break the restriction here," a few experts from the myriad races said. "This humble Taoist does not dare to say that he can break the restriction here. If he can't, please forgive me," Guan Yuanzi said. "Just do your best," a few experts from the myriad races said. Guan Yuanzi then began trying to break the restriction here. Lin Feng found that the restriction here was very complicated and terrifying. It was very difficult to break it. However, Guan Yuanzi's research on formations was very deep. He only spent 6 hours to break the restriction here. Let's go in and see if there's anything good left behind. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.